Hello and welcome to Better Than Mario Brothers, where each episode we delve deep into cinema's sewer. I am Chris Bolton. With me, as always, my partner in podcasting, Mr. Mark Williams.
Hello.
And this episode, we are looking at yet another Hulk Hogan travesty. I think at this point, Hulk Hogan is now officially the most featured person on this podcast, isn't he?
On this network, I think, with the exception of Game of Moments, obviously, because that was kind of set, and The Grinch, because he's a million and Christmas on Who Wins. Yeah, Hogan's right up there. This is fourth appearance, I think. Fifth.
I think it's the third Hogan film we've done.
Third Hogan film. We did. So this one, Suburban Commando and
No Holds Barred.
Yeah. We did Hogan versus Hulk.
Yes.
Early on in Who Wins.
And we've done Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling.
Yes, that's 5 times. Five times.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be one of those nights, listeners.
I think it is. Well, given how this film went, yeah, I think you're probably right. It might be one of those.
Yeah, so we are looking back at 1998's The Ultimate Weapon, starring the one and only Hulkster.
I mean, I took issue with that to start with, because he's very much not the ultimate fucking weapon.
No, I mean, he's not even the Ultimate Warrior. Like, come on, there's a given here. What's going on?
Well, especially given that they named his doofus friend Vince. If that's not shots fired, I don't know what is.
I didn't even clock that. Yeah.
No, that's very much shots fired.
I mean, look, we've said previously when we did No Holds Barred and when we did Suburban Commando, like, Hogan's not all that bad, to be fair. He's watchable normally.
Yeah.
And those films, like, yes, they're not good, but they're not awful. This, however, is a completely different kettle of fish.
I mean, I watched this last night. Within like 25 seconds, I texted you to ask about his hair, because Hogan with hair is the most ridiculous thing I've ever fucking seen.
Wig ever. What the fuck?
I'll try and weave this into the video, but that was the response I had to Chris, and that's the first thing I wrote at the top of my page.
Yeah.
Worst
great
wig ever.
Think alike and everything. That was the second thing I thought. The first thing I thought was, and I'm assuming you watched it on Amazon, same as I did.
Yes.
First thing I thought is, why the fuck am I watching something in 4:3?
Well, yeah, especially because on Amazon it says it was made in 2021, not in 1998.
Yes, it does. That confused me as soon as I saw Hogan.
That threw me. The other thing, I didn't write it down, but I did think it is. This film was made in 1998. It had a limited release in Europe, less of a release in America, apparently. I've not been able to find a great deal of information about it because everyone seems to want to forget it exists. But the one thing that did strike me is that this film was made in 1998. Now, this film has no fucking business being made in 1998. You look at the films alongside it that would come out at the similar sort of time, and then you look at this. This is the most 80s film the 90s ever produced.
It really is. I mean,
even the titles where you've got the steel on steel and the sparks and all the rest of it. It's like, this is Vince McMahon's wet dream here.
This is the type of film, God rest him, that my dear old dad would have loved.
This is the type of film you'd have bought in Macro in like a pack of 5 for a $5.
This exactly it. Or it comes on like a DVD with like 5 other films and you pay $2.99 for them.
Yeah.
Or it gets given away
to
the Sunday
Brian
Dennehy. Yes. Yes, totally. This needs Brian Dennehy, doesn't it? You're right. And there was a perfect role for him.
Brian Dennehy?
Yeah, there was a perfect role for him here as well, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we stumbled across this. Listen, this wasn't one that was suggested. We just stumbled across this. The more of these films, these bad films that we watch, supposedly bad anyway, films we watch for this podcast that are on Amazon Prime, the more Amazon decides to recommend to us. Yeah. And so, that's how we stumbled across Killer Sofa. That's how we've stumbled across this. And I didn't even recognize Hogan on the cover. When we were looking through, it got recommended.
Black hair for a start.
Yeah. Like it came up, got recommended to me, and straight away I saw the title, like you say, the ultimate 80s titles. It's like the ultimate weapon in that kind of brushed steel look, and there's a muscular dude holding a fucking machine gun on the front
of an explosion.
Yeah, like, right, we're doing this.
Yeah.
And then I was like, hang on a minute. That's Hulk Hogan with black hair.
Well, that was the thing. I didn't realize, because we looked at it, and I was when we sort of scrolled through it, I was on my phone because we'd finished recording. I was like, I'll go through it, and I was like, no, that's not Hogan, because he's got black hair and he's and it's a 2021 film and he looks like he's about 40.
Yeah.
So can't, and then obviously getting into it, but yeah, it's weird. And so when you get into it, then he's again, it's the dude from Small Soldiers. It's just that plastic hair just plonked on the top of his head.
Do you know what? All I could think, especially because of the color of that wig as well, because obviously they've tried to match Hogan's natural hair color, but for some reason it's come out like strawberry blonde. And I'm just looking and thinking, this is Donald Trump the movie. This is like
this is how he sees himself.
Yeah, this is Donald Trump's wet dream in movie form. Like, because that's all I could. I'm looking at that hair. I was just like, this is the Donald Trump of the late 90s. Like, that's what that hairstyle looks like. That's almost what it's been modeled after. I mean, you combine that with it because he's still rocking the tash. So you combine those two things together. Whew, like,
and this made me laugh a little bit because, I mean, this is 1998. So it had been made in 97. This is peak NWO Hollywood Hogan era.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even sell in his own fucking film.
Yeah. I mean, it's fucking dreadful. This is a payday. And when Hogan's taking a payday, that's saying something.
Well, I mean, he did Thunder in Paradise, didn't he? That was pretty bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, but still, that was his own TV series, and it's not entirely without charm. This, I mean, no, that's something. It's not entirely without charm. I enjoyed it on the kind of ironic level of like I was paying watching it. And we don't get many films like that on it. That was the idea behind this pod when we set this up, but through the list that we put together and through people's recommendations, it's more become about looking at just poorly executed Hollywood films than it has looking at just real so bad that it's entertaining stuff. And every now and again we get one of those. Yeah. But we either tend to go down the route of this is a Hollywood misfire, or this is just the most bizarre concept ever. That the rubber city killer sofas, killer clowns, that sort of thing. This is one of those that we had in mind when we started this podcast of like, this is your $2.99 bargain basement. Like, everybody's trying their damnedest, but this is fucking terrible and it'll never be anything else. And so it leans into that. And oh boy, does it lean into how absurd it is.
I mean, saying that, if you look on Amazon, on Prime, most of the reviews are 4 and 5 stars.
I mean, I can see that there is definitely, like I said, my dad would have given this 5 out of 5, double thumbs up. Like,
same as mine.
No questions.
Although there is one, my favorite one that I saw, which I don't normally read the comments and the reviews because I haven't got time, because I just fall down that rabbit hole of going fucking hell. One that says, I'm giving this 1 star not because it's bad, because it's worse than that. I'm giving it 1 star because at least it was a job for the crew.
I mean, fair play. Like, as we've said several times on the show, you have to remember that the people work hard on these things. Even when they turn out like this, people got paid. They showed up to work every day. They did their best. All right. They all did their best. And actually, especially some of the performers, like, there's some decent performances in this.
There are. And one thing I did spot, actually, which I'll go into it in specifics when we get to that point when we go through the film. But John Cassar, who directed a lot of 24, directed this. And there are some very definite precursors to that. Shooting through when they're going through the woods and shooting through the foliage, you got the soft focus on what's in the foreground and focus in the background. Lots of that, lots of quick cuts, lots of very tight shots where people are walking past the camera, stuff like that. So there are elements of that which have carried over and he's taken on and used elsewhere in his career. So I mean, you do get that type of thing as well, which I did think was quite interesting. And I didn't realize until the end. I sort of wrote that down, and then when I realized it was John Cassar, it made sense.
Yeah. It's interesting though, isn't it? Because I think this is probably one of the last action films of this ilk to exist before 24 completely rewrote the rule book on this stuff. Because now when we did Domino, for instance, every low budget action film you see now, we've done this as well. So we've got to hold my hand up. Every low budget action film you see now is all about like, right, if we just have really kinetic camera movement and we wash things out slightly and we give it a steely blue tinge, and we can hide the fact that we haven't got a budget, because we'll get all of this kinetic forward motion through the camera and it'll be exciting. And so this is one of the and it really did jar with me, and I think it's one of the things that make it feel so 80s is that there's a lot of locked off camera here, and there's a lot. It didn't help that it's in 4:3, and I don't know. I didn't check the technical details. I had a look on IMDb. There's nothing on there. I can't imagine for a second it was shot in 4:3. So it's been pan and scanned. Yeah. So that's not going to have helped that feeling. But it's definitely got that kind of, there's a lot of shots of Hogan just holding his gun and shooting, and then a cutaway to something blowing up and people diving over. It's very A-Team in that respect. And that definitely lends it that 80s feel, as opposed to, as I say, that sort of late 90s, early 2000s post 24 feel, where everything's like, right, we're going handheld camera, and if people can't see it, then they'll think that they're seeing it.
Yeah, they'll fill in the gaps.
Their mind is going to fill in the gaps. So that I don't think it was shot necessarily that way, but the pan and scan hasn't helped the fact that they're going to have to move the frame over to show the guys blowing up and stuff. So there's that about it. So we boxed off the 4x3 of it all, and we've boxed off the wig. So let's just it's straight out of the gate. I've got half a page of notes just on this kind of shit. So once the film starts, though, like the first thing before we get into any kind of story whatsoever, like you have that little initial kind of prologue, just for the titles, where he's running through the woods or whatever with his daughter, and then we cut straight back to like Hogan 10-20 years. It's 20 years on, isn't it? I think it's 20 years. 20 years on, and he's building his barn and stuff, but he's fallen asleep. Now, is there any reason really that he has to walk around with his shirt open for the entirety of this film? Like, because it starts here where he's sleeping in the barn and he's got that kind of denim sort of
sleeveless
shirt with the sleeves cut out, like the most 80s thing you're going to see.
He has got a traditional Hogan wife beater on as well, hasn't he?
No, not initially. Later on, he starts wearing wife beaters. But for the majority of this film, he is walking around like just like, hello, Chuck Norris called, he wants his wardrobe back. Do you know what I mean? It's full on like denim shirts with the arms cut off. And
we'll get to the wardrobe later on.
Down, and just wander around. Why are you doing this? Why nobody walks around town like that.
Especially not when you're building a barn. You cover yourself up so you don't hurt yourself.
Yeah.
But I mean, to be fair, I did make a note on the wardrobe later on, because initially you get he's in the jeans and the cut off shirt, and he's walking around like that. When he then goes into battle, and I don't mean when they go off in the initial mission, but when he goes to try and beat the living fuck out of Dylan what's his face, he's in slacks and a button down shirt. Now who goes to war in a fucking button down?
Yeah, I noticed that as well. For some reason, he turns into like this gentleman of leisure.
It's fucking hell.
It's very, very bizarre wardrobe choices. I appreciate we're not actually diving into the story yet. We're talking around some of the more general aspects, but there's so much just crazy shit in this film that, I mean, going through the story we could do in like 10 seconds, to be honest, because there's very little of it.
As I say, it's every 80s action film.
But as if the wardrobe isn't bad enough, and as if the hair isn't bad enough. So there's wardrobe and makeup that are both completely just shit the bed.
Can't imagine making a film like that.
No. What the fuck is up with the accents?
I know.
I mean, the fucking, what's the guy's name? That like Rourke. The henchman, the Navy SEAL guy, who's supposed to be British.
Where have I got? Where is it? Oops, not my page. What the fuck is that accent? English, Irish, Australian, Scottish?
I mean, it is without any shadow of a doubt, and we've had some strong contenders on this show. It is without any shadow of a doubt the worst accent I've seen in anything that we've watched yet.
Well, it's not,
I don't
because
know what it is.
The problem is, it's not the worst accent. It's a really good something.
We just don't know what.
Don't fucking know what.
I mean, I allowed my brain to justify it later on, because when we first meet him, like he's introduced as like he's a British naval
general.
officer. Yeah. He's a British naval officer. And so straight away I was like, right, what the fuck's that accent? That's really weird. And then of course later on when we find out he's dirty, I was just like, oh well, he was just pretending then. He's not really British. He's because they're all walking around like fucking mafioso. So I'm like, oh well,
there's a tinge of Eastern European in his accent as well, which again, his name is Dermot O'Rourke.
Well, there's that as well. They're apparently IRA gunrunners.
But they never mention the IRA because it's our Irish friends, because they're Americans and they all love them. They were all very much into the Irish independence and all the rest of it. Also, the IRA didn't exist in 1998. They'd been disbanded, so it probably was written in the script and somebody went, oh, fuck, we can't say that anymore.
Can't say that, yeah. So, but they're supposed to be the IRA, yet they literally all dress like mafioso, right down to the fucking dodgy shades and the cheap suits.
Yeah.
Right? And
the fucking polo neck.
Yeah, like they're all dressing like the mafioso, but they're supposed to be the IRA. So I'm like, right, well, which are you here? Are you Irish, or are you Italian American, or are you none of the above? But you're not doing the stereotypical Italian American accent. You're not doing an Irish accent. So you're basically just random bad guys, I think.
Yeah,
Like,
kind of.
what? I mean, so much of the, like, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy in this is just, because like Hogan himself is a soldier of fortune. Like, he's a merc. He's not a nice guy. Like, he kills people for money.
I was going to say, this is the thing, and it's set up, and you get this thing. So right at the start with, before they go on the mission, him and Vince have this little fucking, effectively penalty shootout to see whose dick is bigger. So they do that, and you think, right, okay, so that we're setting up. He's an expert marksman. They haven't set up he's a soldier of fortune. It's just it's a job, it's business. So you kind of you take it by inference. At this point, you haven't been told it outright. So you get this thing where they're in the woods training and all the rest of it. So you get that, and then they go on this mission, and literally they are just picking people off. And the thing is, it's okay because they're baddies.
Random baddies.
We're being positioned that well, Hogan's clearly the good guy, and Junior McMahon or whatever his fucking name is. They're the goodies. They're there to liberate a landing zone so the UN can get in and take guns off the streets, or take the drugs off the kids, or whatever the fuck it is. And okay, fine. So we're positioned that way. So automatically you're rooting for them in the same way you do. And they really took the piss out of it in Hot Shots 2.
Yeah.
The whole thing of you're going in and even yes, okay, they may be a paramilitary group or wherever they are. They're still people, and you're shooting them in the back. You're picking them off one by one. Yeah. Not in a fair fight. You're literally just going up and snapping their necks or shooting them in the back. The one thing I will say is that you never see this anywhere else. You did in this film. They hid the bodies when they killed them. That was actually quite clever.
I've got to be honest. The initial assault on the base, once him and Vince get together and they go on this mission, that really got my hopes up, because I thought like the way they handled that stealth sequence was absolutely amazing. Like that was a really well choreographed action sequence. Yeah, where they just, they're not like holding a bush up and walking behind a bush. They've not got silly about it. They're literally popping it out of nowhere, breaking somebody's neck, and dragging the bodies back into bushes. They are really going for a stealth infiltration, and they're being really careful to show that. It feels like you're playing Metal Gear Solid. Yeah. It's like they're really, really going for it.
I don't know if you ever play Commandos on the PC.
Yes, loved Commandos.
The World War II, but it had that sort of feel to it, where you have to hide the bodies because people there are people on patrol. There are people, there are people looking around. You have to be stealthy about it. You have to be careful. It had that sort of feel. I was the same. I was thinking, right, okay, this is something I can. Shitty dialogue aside, because it's an 80s action film in the 90s. I can get on board with that. The fact it looks like dog shit. Okay, not really happy with that, but I can't do a lot about that. I'll just take it as it comes. But this sequence, I thought, right, this is good. This is working well. You've done some character work whereby you don't call me Ben, my name's Cutter in this sort of environment. I knew your father, all this, all the tropey shit you get. Fine, I'm on board with that. And you get this sequence, and it's great. And then you get fucking Padio Bosnian or whatever his fucking name is comes in. Oh, we'll take it from here. So you get these guys come in, and they're not the UN. Well, fucking duh.
I really wish his name was Padio Bosnian. That would be filed away in my little vault somewhere.
Yeah, we'll use that in something else. But so then it's like, okay, well, clearly this looks dodgy as fuck. Well, you're a merc, so don't really, you can't really afford to be sanctimonious about it. You can't afford, you can't go, hang on a minute, this isn't on the up and up. Because you're not either. You're an assassin, basically.
That is where it absolutely lost me and jumped the shark and never regained momentum. But the first quarter of an hour, I was actually like, yes, it's clearly an 80s film. Yes, it's clearly low budget. Yes, it's clearly very tropey.
Yeah.
But it was kind of so ridiculous that I was able to go with it. Like there's right, like before we get to that point, let's just take a quick rewind backwards. So we meet him in his barn, and he's had a horrendous 20 years. His partner, Vince's dad or whoever is gone, and he's lost his daughter, and he's building his barn. He just wants a nice, quiet life.
Yeah.
Building his barn with his fiance at this point. No, she's not even his girlfriend at this point. She's his girlfriend.
Long-suffering girlfriend.
Long-suffering girlfriend, yeah. And she's fed up with the life he's in as well. And it's decent enough setup, all right? We get it. All right,
we've seen it a million times, but we get
it. He's too old for this shit. He wants to turn his back on it, right? We get that. And actually then, considering the fact that she has a very, very poor role and some awful dialogue, she does some really nice work in this film. Like the exposition dump she does straight off the bat. Your Laurie, your character name is, isn't it? I mean, she's by no means the world's best actress, all right, but she knows what she's in here. She knows she has a great big exposition dump to give us, and it's horribly written. Like it absolutely stinks of cheese, and she just steamrolls straight through. And I think she does a really, really good job of handling that. And I'm like, right, okay, this is okay. You know what you're doing. I know what you've done. Fine. We needed to know all that. We needed all that character information, and we could have tried to be subtle about it, but this is a fucking this is a 90-minute action movie starring Hulk. In fact, no, it's longer than that. We'll get onto that at the end as well. But this is a action movie starring Hulk Hogan from the 80s. Fine. You're not concerned about being subtle. So she gets us through that. Then we get the horrendous accent aside. Again, like the setup of it all. Like, yeah, he's a fucking hard ass merc, and he doesn't like the new guy, and he's got his handler, and it's like, yeah, okay, all shit. The one bit that did make me pause the screen because I was laughing too much, and I was making notes, so I had to stop and laugh. When they're going on the mission, and he hands the envelope over to his handler, marked "to be open on death." What else is going to be in that envelope? You're about to go on a mission. What else is going to be in an unmarked envelope? To be opened on death, right? Yeah. Okay. I mean, great title there that you missed to straight away. Never mind the ultimate weapon. Open on death. That'll do. Much better title. So yeah, and then we meet Vince Cobra, and from the second he shows up on screen, I'm like, you are too good for this, mate. Because holy shit, that guy's amazing. Like he's actually got chops. He's charismatic. He can act, and like the film instantly goes up a notch. Like I said, I was coasting along with it anyway. It's fine. As soon as he shows up, this film just instantly goes up a notch. And the dynamic between him and Hogan is really good as well. They're sparring off each other really well. They've got that kind of, they kind of hate each other, but they're going to have to work together. They're not really an odd couple because they're both fucking headshot, but they've got a really good dynamic. It really works. So all of this is going great. We get that really good stealth sequence then. Other than the fact they get to Serbia incredibly quickly, I'd just like to point out, like, why would we need to worry about the two of them bonding or any character work going in there or anything like that? Like I said, it's not that kind of film. They just like missed opportunity is all I'm saying. There could be a couple of scenes there with them in a chopper where, digging more into the backstory and stuff and building their relationship. But then, also I'm expecting him to die on this first mission, and he doesn't. Spoilers. Yeah. So
that was my thinking as well. He's going to die, and then he's going to feel guilty, and then we get
totally.
You get fucking revenge movie.
Yeah, that's where I thought this was going, and they pull that trick on me later on as well. So they managed that quite well. But I mean, why bother with all that character work? Because let's be honest, we're just all here to watch Hogan blow shit up. So and that's literally what they do. They're like, right, fuck this, no character work, get to Serbia, let's just fucking blow shit up, because that's what you're here to see. So they do, and the assault is really well done. We've already talked about that. But all of this stuff that's going reasonably okay, and I'm settled in. I'm like, I watched it Friday night because I had Thursday night, sorry, which was the start of my weekend because I had a lot of writing to do this weekend. So I was like, right, okay, this is kicking off a weekend quite well. I'm all right with this. A couple of beers, watching this kind of shit, it's fine. And then we get just the worst gunfight I've ever seen. Like, the stealth stuff's really good. The gunfight is awful because it's all static. Then, as you say, it jumps the shark there and then because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he grows a conscience. And I'm like, what? Excuse me? Like, you're on a mission. You told us before you went that you have to do it because you need money and you don't know how to turn your back on this life and it's cyclical and you're caught in it. And we did all of that. And we did all the stuff with Cobra about, how this, this life isn't for you, kid, and blah, blah, blah. And we did all of that. You hate the life, right? Yeah. But you're trapped. So where all of a sudden what is the thing that makes you go, but these motherfuckers, like, never mind everything else, but these motherfuckers. Yeah. It makes no sense. Like, and all we would have needed was something like Cobra going, I think I recognize that guy. Do you know what I mean? Or like, maybe he killed my dad. Anything. But all of a sudden, it's just no, these motherfuckers, these are the last straw. Because do you know what I really hate? People who can't do fucking accents. So I'm gonna kill them
And the
all.
Irish, apparently.
Yeah, and the Irish apparently fucking mix, right? Um, not me talking.
Other slurs are available.
Yeah, not me talking. Oh,
But
fuck
yeah, I
hell.
mean,
If you haven't been offended by us at this point and you're 20 odd
yeah,
episodes in there, clearly we've done something wrong.
yeah,
You know I jest.
yeah. And the thing is, like I said, there's nothing that pins this. Is like, I don't like this. Doesn't feel right. Well, none of it feels right because, as I said, you're a soldier of fortune. You've just gone and executed a load of people. And yes,
Yeah.
okay, it was your mission, and we're positioned a program to think that you're on the side of right because you're our lead. Therefore, they must be on the side of wrong. That's all fine. And, take that. Nothing happens to make it go. And he's like, I don't like the look of this. Well, why not? There's nothing wrong with it. Let's just go. Well, no, they don't look like the UN. Well, what do the UN look like?
Yeah, this is the thing. We haven't got enough of his backstory
Yeah.
for us to understand how we can make those calls. For instance, you mentioned 24, right? If he's Jack Bauer, right, and he's having a bad day and he's fed up with all this, we know from even in episode 1 of 24, we know who Jack Bauer is. And if he makes a call like that, you can go, well, of course he'd know that. He's fucking
that's who he is.
high level
He's Jack
fucking
Bauer.
SEAL. He knows this stuff. We know nothing about hardball. Nothing. Other than he's really pissed off with his life and he just wants to build his barn. Again, hello, Chuck Norris. This is basically what this is. This is Hogan doing Chuck Norris. Right.
So, so you get that. So we've got this whole lack of backstory, this lack of anything other than, oh, we haven't blown anything up in about 4 seconds. Let's start blowing. No, let's start with the grenade launcher because obviously, so you get this thing where you say, well, do you know how to fly windows? I crashed 2 of them. Oh, that'll do. That makes me feel really good about this. So then they open the door. Vince punches the guy in a fucking plastic bulletproof helmet and knocks him out.
Oh, before we get there, we get one of my favorite lines of the film from Vince. Or Cobra, as I keep calling him, because that was his code name, and that sounds way cooler than Vince. And I didn't clock, even though his name was Vince. When Hogan does turn and they start like they're not the UN, and they decide they're going to kill everybody, you get from Cobra, so we're the good guys. All right. Just in case you weren't following.
Yeah, just in case there's that sort of the morally ambiguous bit about them executing people didn't quite track.
No, but the thing is, Cobra 100% knows what type of film he's in. And I love him for it. I absolutely love him for it. He nails this part completely. He's got so much. He just gives this real low-key delivery of everything, where he's taking it really serious. Like it would be so easy to be over the top with these lines and to be super enthusiastic or to go really snidey and sarky with it, but he doesn't. He's just got this really cool, laconic, low-key energy throughout all of this, and he's just so good, so good. Then he punches a guy in the fucking helmet. That sounds worse than I intended.
Yeah, either way is ridiculous.
Either way is ridiculous.
But so punches in. This guy's in the full face visor and the bulletproof helmet and all that. Punches him in it, and he's knocked out straight away because obviously that's how it works. He doesn't even shake his hand or anything that he might have hurt.
And it's not even the most ridiculous move Cobra pulls in this.
No, it's not. So you get that, and then we get this. What should be your iconic scene where the helicopter's rising up and Hogan's standing on the rails with the fucking grenade launcher. Okay, great. And then, as you say, he fires. Oh, sorry, he's standing there. They go for a close up on the barrel. Then they cut away to something exploding and people diving off. They've gone full T2 on this, whereby no fucker actually dies.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're just all jumping out of the way.
Yeah, so you get that, and that's fine. But they blow up all these weapons caches. Fine, yeah, great, no problem, brilliant, fantastic. But you're just like, hang on, what was the point in that? Because literally all they've actually done is Hogan's tied to this thing for dear fucking life because they can't afford to drop him. They've gone up in the air and gone back down again.
Yeah.
And there's just no continuity to any of the shooting whatsoever. It's very clear that they're not even in the same fucking place when they go close up on the gun.
No, but again, I'd even let that go and laugh at it. It's, for me, it was just literally, and I know I shouldn't be pulling the script apart in this, but it was literally like, why the fuck does he give a shit about this? Like, he has no reason. He's here for a payday. This is his last job. He wants to build his barn.
Yeah.
Do the job.
There's so many options, because all you need to do is say that we've had the exposition done from Laurie. We've had bits about him and his daughter, through the dream and stuff like that. All you need, some sort of reference, even when he's talking to Top, before they go on the mission. What's the fucking name is Top, by the way?
A better one than Bottom. Just saying.
Shakespeare would disagree. I could have gone anywhere with that. I thought I'll keep it relatively classy.
Yeah, you did. You kept that far classier than I did. Fair play.
But yeah, so I mean, we get all you need something about a mission that went awry where they were trying to stop guns being smuggled. Anything.
Maybe he really fucking hates Guinness. I don't care what.
Just something.
I don't care anything. Give me something. You can't just show up and literally flush everything that he's just talked about for the last 10 minutes down the toilet just because he doesn't like the cut of some guy's jib. Like, it's fucking ridiculous. And then, yeah, I did say, like, I was going to go with the whole technicalities of it in the shooting and stuff, and I'll cut them a break. But what I cannot excuse, and they do it, I think 3 times I've made notes of it, and you've pulled it up already with the grenade launcher, the flash cuts in this film are disgusting.
They are. The problem is so they do it there are 3 or 4 sequences where they do it, but yeah, it starts off and it's quick cuts, and quick cuts I can get on board. Again, we talked about that with trying to get the energy and the shooting and stuff like that. That's fine. Yeah. But when you start getting into seizure inducing flashes, because you haven't shot enough or you haven't got enough coverage, and we'll just cut. Well, hang on, what's going on there?
What they've done
doesn't work. It doesn't add anything.
No, what they've done, and I know exactly what they've done because we have made this mistake and realized what we did and fixed it. They have precisely measured how long each of those frames is on screen. They are all on screen for the same time. It is all a very, very short time. And so what that gives you is almost a kind of kaleidoscope effect, if you like, or rotoscope, effect, where you're looking for the through line and the movement, and it isn't there. So what you get instead is this click, 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 and it's all disjointed stuff. What they actually need to be is cut on odd frame counts, so that one's slightly longer than another, and you have to kind of feel your way through that cut. Like there is no rhythm to it when you're doing this. You just have to feel your way through it, and they've gone for this rhythmic approach which gives you that kind of animated rotoscope effect, and it doesn't work because you've just got second flashings of these images, and it's terrible. I hate it. It's amateurish as all hell, but again, this was a relatively, I mean, there's nothing new about the technology, but this was a relatively new stylistic technique at this point. And you could argue that, as you said, you've got somebody that was involved with actually later on bringing it to the fore, sort of cutting his chops here. So, did he direct much 24? I thought he was more of a producer.
I think he directed a few.
I know he definitely produced on 24.
Anyway. he was a producer, but I think he directed a couple as well. Yeah. But he's even after 24, I did look him up yesterday. I can't remember. Like he's done quite a bit since as well, like TV wise.
I
just can't remember what he's done.
Yeah, I digress. That was just my brain took me that way. So yeah, those flash cuts are fucking horrible. But again, I might be inclined to go with them, as horrible as they are, if there was a narrative reason, like give him PTSD or something. And he's firing these now, and he's seeing flashes of his daughter, or he's seeing flashes of Cobra's dad, or whatever. But they're completely unmotivated as well. They're in there purely for stylistic reasons, and you don't manage to execute them, so they don't belong there. So yeah, there's that, and then we're straight back into the ridiculousness of it all. And you mentioned like how much they're having digs at Vince, and it's odd really because this is Vince McMahon's wet dream without a shadow of a doubt, and it feels like somebody on WWE's writing staff just put this script together, because straight away then we're over to the $1 Million Club. I bet they're honest, upstanding folk, aren't they? The $1 Million Club. I mean, fucking hell. Like, so again, look, I'll go with it. It's fine, but come on, guys, you can try harder than that. The $1 Million Club, really? Like, Jesus.
And this is the first time you see it whereby. That might be the second time because you had it with Laurie right at the beginning. This is the first time where they go, right, we wrote this in 1986. We now need to update it and make it modern. So they can make a phone call. All of a sudden, there are 2 people with flip phones. Or like very early flip phones. Okay, that's fine. That dates us a little bit, but that now brings us out to the 80s quite nicely. Because now it doesn't matter. We wrote it 10 fucking years ago. So you get that, and you get this whole sequence where he's playing the piano and he's showing off for all these dignitaries and people and all the corrupt motherfuckers he's got in his club. So that's all fine. It introduces our major villain because fucking Paddy O'Bosnian isn't really going to cut the mustard. And at this point, we don't know if he's still alive or not.
No, because he might have been
Hogan just blown everybody up.
Yeah.
Yeah, except he didn't fucking kill anybody. So we get that. For me, it comes a little bit late.
Yeah.
They should be introducing him earlier, but I mean that's a stylistic thing. Beat wise, it's a bit late, but whatever. So you get that, and we get this whole thing, and there's a line here where it's, "I don't pay you to tell me your problems.
I've got it
pay
written
you to
down
solve
as well.
them."
Makes no sense.
Yeah,
I bounced off that straight away.
Yeah.
I was like,
if I'm paying somebody,
yeah,
or if I've got mercenaries out trying to gather $20 million worth of weapons that I can now sell to the IRA, that is my problem. Because if I don't deliver, I'm going to get kneecapped.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not even that. The whole line itself is completely nonsensical because of where they put the emphasis. I don't pay you to tell me your problems.
Yeah.
I pay you to solve them. Right. So you pay him to solve his own problems. That's what you've written. That's what you've said. Yeah. Right? I think what you meant to say was, I don't pay you to tell me your problems. I pay you to solve mine.
Yeah.
Is what you wanted to say.
Yeah.
But that's not what you said. And it completely confused me. Like, totally threw me. But then it's fine because we just gloss over it. And straight away then we're introduced to the fraternity of fighting men. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, fucking hell.
I'm shit with names. I'll put my hand up at this. I'm shit with names. I know even I could do better than the fraternity of fighting men. Yeah. It makes them sound like some fucking old-timey British superheroes.
It's like a fucking Civil War reenactment group.
Yeah, they should all be wearing monocles and like going around going, put up your dukes. Yeah. Just slapping people with gloves. It's fucking ridiculous. The fraternity of fighting, fucking awful. And then again, as if that wasn't bad enough, then we keep piling on the ridiculousness because we get back to our main bad guy then, and he's training because we have to understand that he's a threat as well.
Yeah.
And so just so that we understand that he's a threat, and just so that we understand that he's a millionaire and doesn't give a fuck about anything, he fences with broadswords.
Yes, I've got that.
Who the fuck? Like, as if he's Connor McLeod. Do you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Who fences with broadswords?
Well, I mean, there's a sequence. I can't remember which Bond film it was. I don't think it was the one that came out at the same time. I think it was the one that came out in the early aughts with Madonna in it. But there's a sequence in there where they're fencing in a club and there's lots of sparring and lots of sort of verbal jousting and stuff. I get that. I get why you would do something like that because it's a harmless way of putting them together. They're not going to injure themselves, but it's a way of putting them together. It's something that Bond does very well. They put Bond in with the main villain straight away, and it's like, look, I know who you are. I know you're a cunt. And I know what you're up to. Fucking stop it.
Yeah.
You don't know anything. You're entirely mistaken. I'm a legitimate businessman. All this sort of shit. But you get there's the action and the sort of there's the pseudo violence around it. But it's it's not going anywhere because it's entirely harmless. This is fucking broadswords with a guy who so far we've only seen as the guy who answers his phone.
Yeah. All of a sudden.
Yeah. All of a sudden they're in fucking battle. So you get that, and then you get this trite thing about trying to win when somebody's disadvantage is it's disingenuous or some shit like that. Well, fucking duh. But winning is winning.
Yeah,
especially when swords are involved.
Yeah, and that doesn't tally with the whole millionaire thing anyway. But it's also like this is such a weird character beat. Like we've been introduced to him as Bond villain's a good analogy here. Like he's some sort of outwardly sort of facing do-gooder millionaire philanthropist.
Yeah.
But internally he's in the fraternity of fighting men and he's evil. And right, fine, I'm good with all of that. But then, if he's that kind of classy, elegant dude outwardly, he would be fencing. Fencing is an elegant sport. Fencing is something that you would understand that millionaires would do. And it's still pretty fucking badass. It shows you that he can use a sword. It doesn't have to be a broadsword. So that rubbed me up the wrong way. And what later rubbed me up the wrong way when we got to the end was I was waiting for them to sword fight all the way through the fucking film. Then
that was it because they very visually they set it up perfectly.
Chekhov's sword here,
absolutely.
Never goes anywhere.
Yeah, so I mean you get that, and the other thing that bugged me with that is the whole thing about him being. He's presented this sort of nobility, the fact you don't swing for somebody when their back is turned, all this sort of shit. Then later on, he hangs Hogan from a meat hook and is taking pot shots.
Yeah.
So, hang on, what?
It makes no sense. There's no consistency in this film whatsoever. Like
none.
It's the thing that annoys us the most, really, on this podcast, I think, and it's all over the place here, is that characters just take in 360-degree narrative turns for no reason whatsoever, other than this is what needs to happen now. It's almost like 20 people wrote this and they wrote a scene each and just stuck them together, and nobody actually understood who the characters were. And on that note, I don't know about you, but when I've just gone postal and blown up half the IRA, and it's likely that they're on my back and I'm never going to get a payday ever again, the first thing I feel like doing is going home and proposing to somebody that I've been with for 20 years and haven't been asked as of yet.
And worst fucking proposal ever, by the way.
I don't know. I really liked the proposal. I thought it was really funny. I thought that scene was executed very well. It's just totally out of place. This should have happened before he went off at the start.
Yeah, that would have made sense. And
that would have made sense.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I'll agree. The execution is funny, but it's one of those you think, right, okay, well, given the fact this character isn't funny, and this, the character isn't funny, he's not spontaneous, and he's not. He doesn't strike me as a great thinker outside of blow that up, go over there, shoot that one, pull that one's hair out. Strategically, I'm sure he's brilliant, but he doesn't strike you as the most sensible person in the world.
No, but the scene is carried again by Laurie. She does fantastic work. Her reactions in this are excellent. The way she just starts to cry and then starts laughing and then hits him, and she hits all of the right beats, and it's really funny. I think it's quite sweet. Really, really funny. So she makes it work.
Yeah, but I stand by it. It doesn't fit with the character at all, because the character is not funny and he's not sentimental. No. We've not seen anything that would lead you to think that actually that's the sort of thing you would do, because if that's who the character is, she would expect that.
Yeah.
Or she might not expect him to do that, but she would expect something, or she would know he would do something like that. If he's going to do anything, it's not going to be the big fucking grand gesture with the down on one knee and the fucking, the violins and all that sort of shit. It's going to be, look, fucking, marry me, I don't really give a fuck. No. Here's a ring. If you want to wear it, wear it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's who we've been given. So all of a sudden to have this thing where he's like, actually, he's thought about this. Yeah. And he's making a point.
Yeah.
And it's telegraphed a mile off, because you get the whole thing about, in the first scene, it's business, and she's talking about his daughter, and she's talking about his job, and he can't walk away and all that sort of stuff. And she specifically mentions about marrying her. Yeah. So you can see it coming a mile off.
But it should have happened there before he goes off on this mission, because then it makes sense for him to go, no, I'm done. I'm an honest man now. She's made an honest man now.
Yeah. And again, at that point, that proposal, that type of joke works really well. Yeah. Because he's like, oh, yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I don't want to. No, I can't talk to you when you're like this. Just put that on and shut up. Yeah. Yeah. That's the type of thing you expect, because that's where the character's gone. Then all of a sudden, it's like, right, okay, well, we've gone off, and he's as you say, there would probably be repercussions. Just thinking logically.
You just blown up a fucking gun cache that belongs to the IRA.
Yeah, it's worth $20 million, as we're repeatedly told.
Probably not a good idea to go and get married right now. You might be putting people in danger.
To be fair, probably not the best idea to go home.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, go to fucking Singapore or something. No, just go and hide.
Let alone to then suddenly start looking for your long lost daughter, who you haven't bothered with for the last 20 years. But now, when the IRA are after you, now feels like a really good time to drag her into all of this, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Well, it does. And we'll come to it later on. And there was a bit that jarred later on with the dialogue where, and I'll jump ahead and we'll come back to it. But she inadvertently gets involved with our main Bond villain, and she escapes. And his first thing is, what did you do to make them come after you? Not thinking, hang on.
Yeah, this is my fault.
Yeah, I may not know that guy's involved at this point, but I've just blown up some gun runners and some really dangerous people. Now all of a sudden, there are people chasing you and trying to shoot you. Yeah. Hang on a minute. That must be your fault.
Yeah, it's fucking that's the whole problem with this film, is that single action. It just capsizes everything. I cannot have any sympathy for him, and then he's just repeatedly the most stupid motherfucker on the face of the planet. Like I said, okay, he goes home and proposes, and then he decides he's going to go looking for fucking Mary Kate. Like, you're just gonna put her in danger. So anyway, nevertheless, go looking for her, he does. And then the first place he goes, clearly a fucking drug den or of some description, clearly some sort of just strung out, just full of people.
Well, no, he goes to the grandmother first, doesn't he?
That's right. But she sends him then off to the fucking whorehouse, drug den, wherever it's going to be. I think it's more of a drug den kind of thing. And the guy answers the door in a pair of Y fronts with some flowers. Great look. Yeah. Like what you're trying to say here? Like, again, it's like, let's stereotype an outwardly flamboyant drug addict just because, why not? Because it's that type of film right now. And by the way, let's make him black.
Yeah, I was going to say, just in case you're not quite sure where you stand with him, he's a drug addict and he's black, therefore he must be evil anyway.
Yeah, and he's most likely homosexual.
Yeah, so, just throw that in there as well.
So yeah, but it turns out he's not evil. He's all right. But just again, horrible. It's horrible. I don't know why he even exists. To be honest, I don't know why this scene exists.
Because it's the 80s.
One of the worst fucking lines in the film, and there are some strong contenders here, but this is another one that just, this rubbed me up the wrong way in the same as I don't pay you to tell me your problems. He sees a girl who he thinks is Mary Kate. It's his own fucking daughter, mind you. I know it's been 20 years, but it's his own fucking daughter. And this girl looks nothing like her. But he sees a girl he thinks to be Mary Kate, and he says, Mary Kate, it's me, Ben Cutter.
Yeah. Just in case. Yeah.
It's me, Dad.
Yeah. Yeah, just in case, just on the off chance that you don't actually know who I am, because I haven't bothered you for 20 years. I'm Ben Cutter.
But what if you don't know who Dad is? What makes you think she has a fucking clue who Ben Cutter is? Yeah.
So that that did annoy me a bit because so this whole thing of we've seen the picture of her, and yes, okay, I know people don't as people grow from children to adults, their faces do change, but there's still a fundamental bit which says, look, that kid has this shaped face, this color eyes, and this color hair. Yes, okay, hair color changes, but fundamentally your face does not change shape unless you put on like 9,000 stone.
No, you'd still recognize somebody who was blatantly not your daughter, and she is blatantly not his daughter.
Again, he was as close with that as he would have been with the drug dealer.
Yeah, totally.
Sorry, drug addict. Sorry.
Yeah, for those of you playing along at home, we're going through this, pretty much as my notes are taken as I watch it for the first time, and Mark does the same. So at this point, I have written, I'm willing to bet £1 million Mary Kate is a stripper or a hooker. And I've written it right.
Boobs.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about fucking telegraphing. So
again, this the troubled childhood leads to troubled adulthood and all this sort of shit. Again, you're at 1998 now. This is a point where this kind of shit is done. You haven't had. I said this is probably the last of this type of film because they did become a lot more subtle and a lot more intelligent after this. But even before this, there were a good couple of years where you didn't have this sort of shit, apart from in parodies like Hot Shots.
Yeah, because we'd realised how the narrative worked in this. These sort of films died off. I mean, they died off round about Terminator 2, really, because that was the first time everything changed. Like, all of a sudden, we rewrote the rules of action films.
Yeah.
And then this sort of shit just fell by the wayside unless you were Bruce Willis. And then you did it straight to video for the next 5 years. See, fucking Striking Distance and all of those. Yeah, he's still doing it, but they're no good anymore. At least they used to be good.
They used to be entertaining, yeah.
Yeah, they used to be pretty good. Striking Distance, I remember being. Maybe we should look at that on this podcast because I remember it being pretty good. Maybe I just thought it was cool because the airboat.
Mercury Rising was the other one. Was like about the same sort of time as?
At the same time, yeah. So anyway, we're digressing. Maybe we'll put those on the list. So willing to bet £1 million that that she's a stripper or a hooker, and then we cut over to the scene with bad guys threatening Henry, the handler. Yeah, and I've written, and fair play to him. All right, they double bluffed me here because I've written Henry is clearly a dead man. Yeah. Just get the fuck on with it. There is far too little plot for this film for it to have taken half hour for us to get to this, to them killing Henry and Hogan going on a vengeance kick, which is where I thought we were going to go.
Well, this is it for the second time. That was my thought as well. Is that the kid's going to die? He's going to go postal. Yeah, Top's going to die. He's going to go postal. But actually, and you get this thing whereby and it's a nice setup where it's like you've got this code. I appreciate that. Kill him. No, wait. I'll tell you what you want to know. Fine. Again, tropey as all fuck, but fine. I'll take that. So then he tells them, what's the next thing you do? You shoot him in the head.
Yeah.
But no.
But they don't.
You take him home.
I hats off to them. They completely double bluffed me with this. They really, really did. To the point where I've even written, holy shit, he sold them out. I didn't see that coming. Like
I figured he'd sell him out. I figured that he would be like, okay, so no, because at that point they're threatening his life. So yes, okay, he values his life more than the others. Fine, he's going to sell them out.
But they're brothers, and his word is his bond.
But he sold them out. At that point, he's worthless. He is absolutely worthless to whatever his fucking name is. So shoot the cunt in the back of the head and be done with it.
Yeah, but they don't.
But they even give him a lift home.
Yeah. So at this point, I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I think I kind of like it because you're going somewhere. I want to see where this goes now. I'm interested. Still think it's taken us too long to get here. But I'm interested.
That's an end of Act 1 setup, really.
Well, yeah. Put a pin in that and hold that thought. We'll talk about.
I say Act 1. Was there an Act 2? Or was it just a clusterfuck of blowing stuff up?
You got it. Put a pin in that because I've got notes about that later on. So then that happens. My very next note is tits, and then called it. She's a fucking stripper.
Yeah.
So and then we get more flash cuts.
Because my first thought with that actually was when he went to the strip club and
I thought she was the barmaid first.
Yeah, that was my first thing. Is that she hasn't sunk that low.
She's not a stripper yet. Yeah,
she's not a stripper. She's a bartender in a strip club.
Strip club. Yeah.
So that was the thing I wrote down. Is that she's not quite there yet, and then nope, she's straight up. No, she's straight on stage.
Stripper. Yeah, she's fucking stripper.
And you get this really weird bit where before Hogan starts to look away, they're locking eyes all the time, and it's I guess the way the cutting is. It's just that should be really awkward.
Yeah.
And he's looking at it going, and it's almost like she doesn't know who the fuck he is. Well, actually, no, she does, because when in the next scene when he goes into the dressing room, she knows exactly who he is. She addresses him straight away. Yeah. But they're locking eyes, but neither is acknowledging the fact that they know who the other one is. There's nothing in there whatsoever, and then he starts turning away and pretending he's really uncomfortable, probably because he's got a raging fucking hard on.
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward, isn't it? And a little bit creepy because it
needs to be. It should be awkward, but it's not awkward enough.
No, but that's what I mean. It's awkward it's awkward for us as a viewer because
it's not
performers in the scene and not making it awkward. Like it absolutely should be, because she knows that her dad is watching her strip and he knows that he's looking at his daughter's strip. So that's odd and creepy and wrong. Yeah. But they don't play it like that at all. He just carries on having his drink. Just turns away, carries on having drinks, and nothing is wrong. And then my very next note, someone is bound to get grabby here in a minute.
Yeah.
And sure enough, as if I didn't even write it, I didn't think I need to. Sure enough, it's bound to be the handler, the manager. Like it just has to be, right? So we'll get on that later on. But then he goes to see her and stuff like that, and then the manager comes in, and there's this little setup about it basically becomes
escort work, and
it basically it's Showgirls. They literally rip the plot of Showgirls and stuff it into this film.
What of Showgirls?
The plot. There is a very, very thin plot in Showgirls, more so than there is in this. But yeah, they take that whole narrative device about the escort work. Does this predate Showgirls? It's difficult to say because
it's probably written before Showgirls, because this is written in it must have been written about 1986.
See, it's dated 1998, but I don't think it is.
I think that's when it was produced, because you have laptops and phones and stuff. But yeah, I think this was probably written a long time earlier, so it probably would be, if not before, then certainly similar sort of time.
I definitely got Showgirls vibes from it anyway.
From this particular bit, yeah.
So then the owner of the strip club comes in and says he's going to kick him out and stuff like that. And they have she doesn't want to know him. He shouldn't be there. Yeah. So, and then we get into Hogan's catchphrase for the movie. And as bants go, like even by Hogan's standards, this is pretty fucking poor, because his catchphrase is "Don't piss me off."
Yeah. Like, it's not exactly unique, is it?
No, it's not exactly unique or catchy. It's pretty poor, in fact.
The thing that distracted me most from that particular scene, where he gets the owner's arm up behind his back and sort of smashes him down into the bar and stuff. The bodyguard, is that Brutus Beefcake?
Brutus Beefcake, yes, it is.
I thought it was like post accident.
Yeah, it is Brutus, because I've written that here somewhere. I've just got, it's a bit later on, that is when they come back. You see Brutus.
Well, he's in this scene because you get
he comes in the back of this.
He comes in the background, and Hogan just twats him and walks off. And then when they come in later on, he's the one with the gun.
Yeah, he full on gets a fight scene later on.
Yeah. I thought it was. I wasn't quite sure. I wasn't convinced.
I didn't check credits or anything, but I recognised him instantly enough to write down it's Brutus Beefcake.
Yeah.
So I don't understand how, again, as a writer, you're thinking, right, he needs to have something, he needs a through line. It needs to be like, if in this scene he just says "Don't piss me off," and that's the only time he says it, that's fine, that works. But they make it a catchphrase. He says it 2 or 3 times throughout the film. "Don't piss me off."
Or what?
Yeah, it's not funny, it's not clever. And then even if that's what's written in the script, by the time you've got Hulk Hogan, if you don't have a catchphrase, he has some baked in. Like, all you got, they're going to throw him out. He's just got to turn around and say, "What you going to do?"
Yeah.
Done.
Easy.
Like, it's fine. Like, it's no problem. But yeah, don't piss me off. Awful.
Yeah.
Right. Then we back to Henry. There you go. Now he's dead. But again, not going to shoot him in the head. They're going to shoot him in the stomach, chest area, and then very carefully explain to us that it's going to take round about 2 hours-ish.
I think
or
five to 6 hours, I think they said.
5 to 6 hours for him to die.
Yeah.
So,
okay, fine. Shoot somebody in the stomach. It takes longer for them to die. I get that. That's well established. That's fine. I think it's about 3 days before we see the cunt next, though.
Yeah, but I mean,
you look at the way the narrative goes. It's certainly overnight.
Yeah, but they very carefully explain to us that he's not going to die.
He's not going to die straight away. And
just
in case you weren't quite sure, he's sort of coughing and spluttering as if, I'm going to walk it off.
Yeah. And he hasn't given anyone his letter either that says open this on death. So, because they all must have one. So
yeah, presumably.
He's clearly not ready to die yet. But it's good that they told us that, because that might be important later on.
Yeah, and now fucking Paddy O'Bosnian's been in and he's got Hogan's will with a picture of little Mary Kate, who's now 20 years older and looks nothing like the fucking photo. We're okay. We're good. We're back on track.
Well, now, here we go then, because, my next note, okay. And I've written it like that because that's how I was feeling at this point. How can the bad guy, who's never, ever, ever seen her before, identify Mary Kate from a 20-year-old photo?
Yeah.
And B, even if he can do that, how fucking creepy can you get? He's in a strip club, looking at her strip, whilst identifying her from a photo of her as a child.
Surely, if you're the proprietor or the security or the bar staff at that particular establishment, you've got a guy there watching a girl take her clothes off while looking fairly longingly and wistfully at a picture of a kid who's about 6.
Yeah, it's wrong. It's just wrong.
That's fucking red flags. That's alarm bells ringing going, hang on, there's some sort of fucking nonce over there.
Hang on,
you want him out.
Was this a Miramax picture by any chance? No. I couldn't resist. Please don't sue me. Harvey Weinstein's never been accused of being a paedophile. It just seemed to fit too well.
Yeah. It was accused and convicted of a lot of things, else, but he wasn't a nonce.
Yeah,
that we know of.
Yeah, that we know of.
As far as I'm aware, nobody said that he was.
Yeah, but I don't think so. But
just leave it there.
There's definite Jimmy Savile vibes from this.
Oh fuck!
This is horrible. Like, I did a little sick when I watched this. It was gross, and it gets worse from it. This is. I said it jumped the shark earlier, and it really did. Like it did. It hasn't done much to pull me back narratively. I'm kind of, like I said, I'm kind of hate watching this at this point now.
Yeah.
But from here out, this narrative nosedives to the point where I was starting to feel like 365 days physically uncomfortable watching this at some points now. It's horrendous, absolutely horrendous. So he has the photo. We have the quick talk in the back room with Mary Kate, where she very quickly 180s on the fact that she's going to go out for dinner with people. She's clearly seen Showgirls. She knows what's going to happen. She's going to be famous if she does this. And then,
but it's okay because for good reason. So it's so her grandmother doesn't lose her house.
Yes,
It's not because she's a whore.
Yeah, no, it's just to save Granny. Yeah, it's fine.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's okay. Ends justify the means. It's fine.
Yeah, totally fine. And then Brutus Beefcake shows up because Hogan goes back there, and we have a great big fight in the club. Fine.
And again, some shit-eating dialogue from Vinny, but it works. Yeah, it fits with the character.
Totally fine. What I don't understand, though, is that prior to them going to the club to look for Mary Kate a second time, Vinny comes to see Hogan, Cutter. Cutter basically tells him, get fucked. I don't want anything to do with it.
Which he's told him all the way through.
Yeah, why are you here? Get fucked. Vinny convinces him, look, let's go for lunch. Like, and
I know, a great little place.
Yeah, Laurie basically says, go on, fuck off. Go, get on my hair. Sick of the sight. You're not even married yet, and I'm fed up of you walking around in your fucking denim vest. Like, fuck off. So he takes him for dinner, and they end up in the strip club. Why are they even there? What are they doing?
There are reasons why people go to strip clubs.
I know, but they went for lunch. What? I mean, how does this conversation go? And they drive him down, and Vinny's sandwich shop he's going to take him to is shut. So Hogan goes, "Hey, I know a really good place around here.
Yeah, my daughter works at this
My
great little
daughter's
place.
a stripper. Do you want to come and see her tits?" I don't think it works like that.
No.
Like,
But again,
why
and
is it
again,
there?
we've talked about this in things that we've written and we've been editing and things that we've looked at for other people and in other films and shows we've looked at. It's fine having time jumps, but they have to be logical.
Yeah, and this is not logical. How did they get there?
And you get the impression it's like there's at least a scene, if not more, missing.
Yeah, completely. I mean, they're going there because they want to have a fight with Hogan and Brutus Beefcake.
Yeah.
That's why they're going there. Fine. But then just, I don't know, have them bump into him outside the sandwich shop and then be like, "Oh, you're the arsehole from the other day." Yeah. Because there's no other narrative through line here other than they go to the strip club and have a fight.
Yeah.
Like, how the fuck did they get? I want to know what that conversation was.
Well, yeah, and even the execution, you've the way they set it up, and it's obviously done for comic effect, but they do the whole setup with look behind me and all this sort of stuff. Fine, they get into the fight, but then Vinny's on the floor, straddling Beefcake and just twatting him in the face when he's clearly already unconscious.
Yeah.
Well, Hogan's taken on 6 other fucking dudes.
Yeah. Yeah. In his shirt and slacks at this point. Now.
Yeah.
He's dressed
they went out for lunch.
Yeah. So he's all fucking Miami Vice at this point.
Yeah.
So, of course, Mary Kate's not there. Like,
because she's gone off for lunch.
If they were going to see it, yeah, she's gone off for lunch herself. She's gone off to entertain our main bad guy.
And some fucking Armenian dignitary or something.
Yeah, I red flags everywhere. As soon as she goes, "Oh, he's going to be slightly late," or
yeah, he's held up at the airport. Now the other one fucks off. Oh, I'm gonna go look around. I'm gonna powder my nose. Yeah, fine, whatever.
Right, look, it's horrible. It's creepy. We're clearly going towards him pressing his advantage. That's horrible enough, but
I'll come on to that later on.
That's where we're taking the character. So okay, you can see him kind of doing this as a blackmail kind of thing. And that's what I'm thinking he's doing at this point. Like, yeah, he's taking it. He's going to press his advantage. Maybe he'll have a little bit of fun, but then he's going to kidnap her, and it's going to be Hogan's. No. That's not good enough.
No,
because he has to rape her.
Well, yeah,
because obviously he does. Because Hogan's blown up his weapon supply. Never met him. Has an irrational hate of the man. Like, yeah, okay, he blew up your guns. Now, I'm not sure how escalation goes, okay, and I don't have a daughter to say that I can calculate this escalation, but I'm pretty sure blowing up guns and sending a business deal south doesn't equate to "I'm going to rape your daughter." Pretty sure maybe it equates to "I'm going to beat the fuck out of you."
Yeah,
but I don't think it equates to "I'm going to rape your daughter." I think that's a whole nother level of fucked up.
The thing with that, even if you say, right, I'm going to extract my revenge. Yeah, okay, fine. I'm probably going to again. I've just lost $20 million worth of IRA guns. I'm going to get killed myself. It's your fault. I'm going to make you suffer. I'm going to kill your daughter. That tracks. That makes sense. Yeah. And it's this whole thing, and you see a lot, especially in late 80s, early 90s action films, where it's like, what's the most heinous thing you can do?
It is,
but it's not the most heinous thing you can do to a woman. It's what you are doing to a man. By doing it to a woman,
by doing it to a woman, yeah. You're removing, you're actually removing
that woman. Then becomes a slab of meat.
Yeah, you're removing all agency, all personality, all everything from this woman. He is going to rape her just to get back at her dad. It's, oh my god! Like I joked about it slightly earlier on. I have literally written here, I think I'm about to throw up, and I felt like that at this point. And as if it wasn't bad enough, it's the line. Resistance is like sugar on strawberries. It makes every bite just a little more tasty. Yeah. Right. Who wrote that? Where are they? Because they need locking up.
They should be in some sort of program somewhere.
This is not on. All right. This is just like, look, as a writer, sometimes, and as a general human being, okay, we're all adults. We can talk about this. Invasive thoughts are a thing. Invasive thoughts happen. Sometimes you can think something that is completely out of character for you, and it will just pop into your head. It happens, right? There's actual psychological papers written about this.
Most of us happen on this show.
Yeah, invasive thoughts are a thing. If you're a writer, invasive thoughts can sometimes find their way onto a page. If you proofread this And moreover, if this gets in front of a fucking director and producer, nobody gets to read that line and go, oh, yeah, that's a good line. We should shoot that. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
And the other thing with it is, I mean, yes, I mean, the way he's, from this point on, they changed the way his character works, because initially he's a pseudo-psychotic businessman whose deal's gone south and he's going to kill somebody. He's going to fuck some shit up. I don't think generally that automatically makes him a rapist.
No, it really doesn't. It really, really doesn't. I don't know why he has to be a rapist, and that's the bit. That's the bit that sticks in my maw. That's the, again, if he's a pervert, if it's established that this is who he is and this is the character that we have, and look, I'm not excusing it, right? There are films about rape that I will watch, and enjoy is the wrong word, but you can appreciate them for what they are.
You appreciate for what they are, yeah. That's
and I mean, a good rape revenge narrative is something I actually find really compelling. See Maleficent for everybody that hated it. Just dropping that right in there right now. Yeah. But when it's completely out of nowhere and out of character like this and unjustified, it's fucking a bit like, this says nothing other than this film was made by a bunch of despicable human beings. Yeah. As you say, to reduce this character, this woman, to a tool. Yeah. This is horrible.
Yeah, and they double down on it later on as well, because I mean, I'll talk about it now because it's kind of appropriate for what we're talking about. Not to talk about rape is ever appropriate, but you know what I mean. But so you get the thing.
Look, we can push past that. We can have. And that's what I'm saying. You can have discourse about rape, and it, in a way, it's healthy to do that. As a society, we should, and we need to challenge those boundaries, and so should our art. But this isn't the way to do it.
No, and I mean they double down on it later on, where it's like, okay, well, it's he captures Hogan. He's there, and he's torturing Hogan. He's like, I'm gonna. Oh, we found the property, so we know where she is. I'm gonna go finish what I started with your daughter, in your bed, because that makes it so. No, okay, you know, it's like, hang on. That's the measure of it. That's the measure of your character. Is that raping her isn't bad enough. It's because I'm not raping her. I'm actually raping you. I'm sticking it to you where you sleep, where you live. That is what this film is all about.
There's more problems with that as well, just on a technical standpoint, since we're talking about it now. No, I'll talk about it when we get there.
We'll talk about it when we get
there. But yeah, disgusting. Just absolutely disgusting. And yeah, if this had been in his character from the start, and if this is who he was, and this whole film was actually about, he's a merc, and for whatever reason he's detached from his daughter, and she gets involved, she happens to be a stripper and gets involved with this, and he hasn't blown all the guns up, and this is the thing, and all of a sudden it's basically fucked up ransom. Fine, all right, that's our narrative, and that's who this character is. And it's not just to get back at Hogan, you know, and he's the force for good here, and he's going in to save his daughter and to save countless other girls. All right, but that's not what this is. This is just deplorable. It's despicable. Sorry, deplorable. This is despicable. Yeah. I mean, interchangeable, I suppose, but this is despicable. Horrible. Let's move on. This is worse than Game of Thrones.
Actually, it did make me like, because the way they handled it was again, it's kind of laughable, where he's done this thing of introducing this this Chekhov's Fabergé egg. And
well, that's my next note. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, it's worth $1 million. So okay, her thing, headbutt him, great. Oh, it's an obvious move, and you don't see it enough. You know, and where you get these scenes where people are forcing themselves on women, you're holding their arms down, so, and you know that you're pinning them down so they can't fight you off. Yeah. Except you've got this big old fucking thing right here.
Yeah, that they can headbutt.
Yeah, and it's never used. It's the first time I've actually noticed it being used in a film. Except his nose doesn't explode because they were too fucking lazy with the budget.
Yeah, but it's not even the headbutt. What gets me is, and again, we have to go back to the rape thing, right? He's so annoyed. He's so annoyed with this man that he's never met, who's just made a business deal go south, and with his money. Let's bear in mind, yes, 20 million. But as he reveals later on as well, like, this is a drop in the ocean to him. He's just really pissed off with a man he's never met. Essentially, he's got a bit of a Napoleon complex, I think.
Yeah, and I think this is the thing with it, is that they need to make a thing all the way through. It's not the money. Yes, okay, it's $20 million.
It's the principle.
It's the principle, and it's the fact that this is going to cause him problems.
Yes.
At no point does it go, hang on, I've just sold $20 million worth of guns. I've been given $20 million and I've not got any guns to give away.
Exactly.
That's
right?
a problem.
Right.
It's never dealt with as a problem.
So all of that, though, right, it's never dealt with, but we're led to understand that he has this burning passion now to exact revenge on this man that he's never met. He's become singularly focused to the point where he's going to rape his daughter. But because she happens to throw his £1 million Fabergé egg up in the air, he'll run after it and let her go.
Yeah.
What? Like 2 minutes ago, you were going to fucking rape her, mate.
Yeah.
Now, your egg is more important.
Yeah.
This makes no sense whatsoever. Like, none. So, yeah, that's absolute nonsense. I get that the egg is priceless, but he'd sacrifice it. If it was that important to him, he would sacrifice it.
Yeah.
You know?
And then we've had the whole thing at this point as well with the flash drive on a necklace, which we'll talk about that later on as well.
That'll come up. So then we cut back to Kata, who's just finished, who's now sort of debriefing at the club with Cobra. And it's this point I'm watching it going, hang on a minute. Like, Kata has no agency in any of this. Nope, he has no clue where she is. He has no purpose other than set these events in motion by going off the deep end and blowing up the guns.
Yeah.
He's done nothing. He's just running around reacting to things. I don't like, what the fuck, what the fuck.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
No. So then we arse about for a little bit, and there's another shootout at the house this time.
The grandmother's house.
There's an attempted hit.
Yeah.
And again, more of this shit I want, because Cobra deflects a bullet with a frying pan. That's incredible.
Yeah.
It's stupid as hell. But I love it. Like, I absolutely love that. He just plays tennis with the fucking bullet. I love that. That's brilliant. And again, it's at this point I'm watching it going, hang on, aren't you supposed to be the IRA? Why are you dressed like a mafia hitman? Like, what is going on? Then, but again, as if I'm not low enough with all of this, as if I haven't had enough, as if I'm not already shouting at the screen going, this is disgusting and what have you. They've just won me back slightly with the frying pan. But then we have the conversation about why is all of this happening?
Yeah, what have you done?
Yeah, Kata literally says, I didn't start this, Laurie. Yeah,
you fucking did.
Yeah, you did. This is all your fault.
Again, there's a really telling line from her, which is like, you have to have a war, even if it's on your own doorstep. Yeah. Really good, really poignant line, and he shits on it by, I didn't start it. Yes, you fucking did, you moron.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you absolutely. But I mean, and at this 100% started this.
Yeah, I mean, before that, we get the bit of the shootout at the house, and that's fine. And you get the whole thing where Cobra's an expert marksman with a pistol. We saw that early on. That works really well with the gun, the shooting the driver and stuff like that. But I'm fairly sure you cannot drive down a busy street in the middle of the day in broad daylight, climb out the window and start shooting wherever the fuck you feel like it.
Yeah, I don't think it works like that, does it?
I'm fairly sure that doesn't quite pan out. And I'm also sure if that happens and they're shooting at you, you get out the fucking way.
Yeah, you would.
So, that didn't track. So you get all this stuff, and he shoots the driver. That's fine. So he goes. So Vince goes over, sees the driver's dead, and the gunman is there, face down on the dash. Check for a pulse.
Might be an idea. I mean, you're trained.
Yeah, you're stick one in the back of his head.
Killer.
Maybe.
Yeah. Double tap. Always double tap. You'd think he'd know that.
You'd think so, but he goes, "Oh no, they didn't make it." How the fuck do you know that? So he turns around and walks away, and then they hear sirens. They jump. Oh, we got to go. Fine, yeah, not a problem with that. Except again, a car speeding away from a scene where presumably somebody's reported gunfire because why else would they be turning up with sirens blazing? Somebody speeding away from the scene. Yeah. That's kind of a tell.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you think they'd follow those cars.
So you or at least call it in or something. So then they go along. They stick a little edit, tentative little edit inside the window. Yeah, no, they're dead. Again, check. Yeah. Do your fucking job and actually make sure.
Yeah.
And at this point, I'm not saying the copper should be shooting them, should be picking them off, but you make sure the fuckers are dead.
Yeah.
He sticks his head in, a little grin, turns away, and all of a sudden the two of them get shot. And Blokey nicks the police car.
Yeah.
Again, there will be the very nature of people is that we're nosy cunts.
Yeah, all of us.
We hear gunfire and gunfire stops. We're all behind the fucking curtains and we're trying to work out what's going on. At this point, the car's crashed and the people have fled the scene. There's not going to be any more gunfire. I'm going to go out and have a look.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a nose. But nobody seemingly sees him steal this police car.
No.
So we get that, and I'll come back to the police car at the end. I have a problem with the police car.
Probably the same one I have, so we'll talk about it at the end.
Yeah. So, but yeah, he drives off in the police car, takes his jacket off first because he can't possibly be driving in a suit. Yeah, who does that? And then gets in the car and drives away at high speed with the sirens on.
As you would.
Because clearly you want to draw attention to yourself.
Yeah, as you would. You'd obviously have your sirens on. So Mary Kate shows up. Like, she's back home now.
Yeah.
Back home. And Hogan's gonna go look for Henry. We have again Cobra proving himself to be the absolute best thing in this entire film, because his initial reaction on seeing her isn't, okay, that's my best buddy's daughter, got to keep her safe, got to make sure everyone's all right. His instant reaction is, your daughter's fucking hot. Yeah,
I'm having that.
And he gets away with it.
He might as well just say dibs.
Yeah, but he gets away with it again because of his delivery. He's just so low key charming about it. He absolutely gets away with it.
And again, in a logical world, Hogan has him by the throat against the fucking wall.
Yeah, but it's not
all the shit he's just been through to save this girl.
Yeah,
and again, we'll come on to Vince and Mary Kay later on. So yes, we get that. But at this point, they've gone back, and Laurie's taken her, shown her to a room, and she's gone to bed. She's had a sleep, and gets up. They say good morning to her. So night has passed.
Just the next day.
They say good morning. Next day,
good point.
Vinny's having breakfast. Do you want some pancakes? Oh yeah, great. So we have the whole bit, all this sort of stuff between them, and then Hogan comes down and Vinny backs off. I'm going to find Top. So at this point, that 5 or 6 hours has been at least 12.
Yeah, but it's a good job that they told us that he would survive for a good couple of hours, and it's an even better job that Cutter manages to get there just before those couple of hours are up.
Yeah, can you imagine Can you imagine how heartbreaking it would be to get there and he's already fucking dead?
Yeah, because
he doesn't have time to dump that crucial nugget
on him.
Of exposition.
Yeah. Now here's the thing, though.
So fortunate.
He dumps that crucial nugget of exposition, and Cutter puts all the pieces into place, and Cutter now knows what he needs to do, and Cutter now has his mission. Do you know what we call that in writing terms, Mark? We call that the start of Act 2, is what we call that. And we're
an hour and change into this at this point, aren't we?
Yes. Act 1, I've written here, has taken an hour.
Yeah.
A fucking hour.
We've skipped a bit as well, which I've just seen in my notes, and I had to pause and text you at this point because I'd been laughing so much. When they get the necklace home, and they give it to Laurie because she just happens to be a computer expert, because why not?
Because that came out of nowhere as well. Because
she recognizes
there's one earlier on
when Vince turns up and I need to go into town because the server's playing up. I've got to go and do this. Fine.
Yeah.
In 2020, I accept that. In 1998, no. No fucking way in hell.
You need to be a proper fucking networking expert in 1998 to even know the word server.
Yeah. So we move away from that. But she recognizes this as a flash drive. Now, again, flash drives in 1998 weren't really a thing. But they were around, but they weren't widely in use until about 2001, 2002. They were
probably right. Yeah,
they were a thing.
I had my first MP3 player around about 1998, but that was on little micro SD memory cards rather than a flash drive. So yeah, I think you're right. Probably a couple of years later.
Flash drives were later, but they were a thing. I'll kind of go with that. So she plugs it into her laptop, and they copy this file. Now the name of the file, the file path I've got it written down is c:/secretfile.doc.
Yeah.
Now, bear in mind, it's not as if this flash drive would have been so full they had to make it easy to find, because at this point, flash drives would have been about the same size as a floppy disk. You'd have got one fucking file on it.
Yeah. I
mean, he talks later on. It's a spreadsheet with all the numbers and all the banks and all the money and all the rest of it. Spreadsheet that you're probably talking 4 meg. It's not as if that thing's going to be fucking full.
Do you know what I can't understand about this? Is I can see how in even a final, or not quite a final draft of a script, but in a draft 2, draft 3 of a script, that happens. I will do that. I'll be struggling to think of a name for something.
I'll fix it later.
I'll fix it later. I'm going to put in here secret file, and I'll put it in massive, great, big, chunky capital letters in bold, so that when I'm redrafting, I don't miss the fact that I haven't yet named my secret file. Because I don't want to waste 2 hours thinking of a name for a secret file when I can be finishing structure in my. So I get that. I don't get how it gets in front of a fucking camera and
Well,
nobody
somebody's
goes,
had to go make that file.
yeah, and somebody doesn't go, shouldn't we call this like
Something,
it would
something a
have
bit
a
more.
code name?
Yeah.
Like it would be called like holiday pics. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, or even if
Anything
you
like
said, no, right, we're going to call it 2608-3
yeah,
because it means nothing other than it's a file.
yeah, exactly. But no, secret file, which they need a
Secret
password
fucking, yeah.
to crack.
Yeah,
Because
that's
again,
not
this is
shady.
1998.
But again, and you had this thing which you get in lots of films in the 90s which involves some non-technical hacking and stuff, where you get these massive screens that say password denied, password denied, password denied. That doesn't happen. You get a dialog box pops up saying access denied once, not big bold fucking letters running all over the screen.
No,
because somebody would have had to go and program that, and it's a waste of fucking time.
Yeah, and if you're gonna do it, Jurassic Park's a thing by this point, so let's just have Like, if you're gonna do it,
yeah,
do it. Like, go for it. If you're gonna do it, right? So right. Anyway, Act 1 finally.
Yep.
It's done.
Now we have our mission. Now we have our quest. We know what we need to do.
Now we understand how we reset the status quo.
So by this logic, this film should be 4 fucking hours long.
Exactly. Right. So,
although at this point we've got about 36 minutes and change left to go.
Yeah. Right. So it's still too fucking long. This film should be. If this film was 75 minutes, 80 at a push, I'd go with it.
You go with it. I think the thing there is that in order to make it that, the amount of the chaff you'd have to cut out would actually serve the story well.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So,
like you could.
So you could actually make it a lot tighter and a lot neater, and actually have a reasonable story out of it. It'd still be horseshit, but no.
Yeah, but you could go with it. Like, fine, right? Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. The daughter is completely. I've talked about why. Like, I don't want to rape her and stuff, obviously, but she's completely superfluous to this plot. She's no reason for her to be here. We can get rid of all of that. This can be a straight up vengeance mission, or you can cut that side of it and have it be a straight up I'm protecting my daughter. But the both together, it's almost like we're trying to do some sort of character study. It's almost like somebody wanted to make Rambo with Hulk Hogan, and they didn't quite commit.
Yeah,
you know. Anyway, Act 1's over. My next note is just Cobra struck quickly.
Hey.
Because he's Cobra. Get it? I should be writing this. Honestly, I'm funnier than these guys. I think
syphilis is funnier than these guys.
Yeah, the funny syphilis is. So okay, Kata goes and performs an all-out assault on the mansion.
Yeah,
goes for it again in his slacks and button-down shirt.
Yeah.
Just full on busts through the door as well. There's a full on incredible.
Well, this is the thing I don't get with this, right? And I've got another point in my notes. I'm not sure if it's before or after, so we'll come to it in a second. But so we get this thing where he's all sneaky and stealthy, and he creeps up on fucking Tadio Bosnian. He sneaks up, climbs up the wall, stealths the guy, breaks his neck, and then kicks the fucking door in.
I know.
Oh, hang on. What? Why did you just do that in the first place?
Yep. Don't get what's going on. But of course, he ends up getting himself captured.
Yeah, no, actually, the capture bit I really like, because the whole bit about I think you made a mistake. Everyone turns up. No, I didn't, and he twats him anyway. That I really that sits with the character we had earlier on.
Yes.
The no nonsense. Deadly weapon, all of it. That works, and that fits with what we've had so far, except the bits where it doesn't, because they don't know who the fucking character is.
Yeah, never met him. Don't know what's going on. But he gets captured. And then, you mentioned about doubling down. Like, this is where it happens now. He's tied up. They take some pot shots. And he threatens to rape Kata's daughter and soon-to-be wife now.
Yeah.
He's going to rape both of them.
Yeah.
In his own bed.
Yeah.
The response from Hogan, you bastard. Not an appropriate response.
No,
really.
no, it's touch them and I'll kill you.
Yeah. Or
I have a very special set of skills. I will find you and I will kill you.
Yeah, or just incomprehensible rage sounds, whatever you want. And Hogan's great at those. Let's Hulk up at this point. I know he's chained up, but just have him Hulk up. Just like have him break out and wag the finger. Right, done. You've instantly redeemed yourself. Yeah, no. In fact, no. He should do that later on when he goes to save him. Just bust in and wag the finger as he's striding towards him. We've instantly improved this film by 1,000% just by doing that.
I did that by turning it off.
But I don't understand, and this is a thing in most of Hogan's films, very rarely does he use his wrestling maneuvers. And I don't know whether that's because Hollywood was being a bit snooty about wrestling perhaps in these days. But like, The Rock pretty much pulls the eyebrow in everything he's in.
But the thing is, I mean, yes,
Why can't
Hollywood,
Hogan wag the finger?
But you're right. There was, I mean, there's less of a stigma around it now. I mean, professional wrestling or sports entertainment at the time, it was the redheaded stepchild. You didn't want, you didn't admit to watching it. It was that sort of thing that you didn't want to acknowledge it. Except the reason this guy is known around the world is because he's a professional wrestler. These are the people you're trying to sell this movie to, because they're the ones who are going to drag their dads, or the kids are going to say, I want to go see this movie, this Hulk Hogan movie. The 18, 19, 20-year-olds are going to be dragging their girlfriends to because they want to go see the Hulk Hogan movie. Lean into it, embrace it, because that's your demographic anyway.
Absolutely.
No, everybody knows they're not getting Stallone or Schwarzenegger in this. They're getting Hulk fucking Hogan.
Yeah.
So use it. Yeah. And you look at them, as we've gone on, I mean, some of the WWE films and things like the fucking one that Cena was in, the first one he did, not Marine, the other one. A lot of the early stuff they did, they was like they were trying to stay away from that. They're trying to make these action films without embracing the fact that they've got wrestlers in them. Whereas by the time you get to, I think the first one that really lent into it was when Kane did See No Evil.
Yeah.
And he was choke slamming motherfuckers through the floor because that's Kane's move.
Yeah. It makes sense to do that. If you think all the way back to Scorpion King, and I'm not pretending it's a good film, and I'm not pretending CGI Rock was a good idea, all right? But those of us who were into professional wrestling, the Mummy was good anyway, so we're going to go and watch the sequels. But the whole thing with The Rock being in that film was he pulled the people's eyebrow. It was a really bad CGI Scorpion Rock, but he turns the camera and full on does the people's eyebrow, and I'm like, well, that CGI thing sucks, but it's The Rock. Look, he even done the eyebrow. That's what we're in for, and he's done it ever since. He doesn't shy away from doing that, and he shouldn't, and neither should Hogan shy away from this. The film would be improved 1,000% for me as a former Hulkamaniac. I say former not because I hate him now, even though he's a despicable human being, just because former because I was a kid. That's all I'm trying to say. But to get back to this, you bastard is not an appropriate response.
No,
right?
That's you killed Kenny. That's not I'm going to rape your wife.
Yeah, and especially his delivery as well, which is terrible.
It's pathetic. He's a beaten dog at that point, except he's not.
Hogan is famous for not selling things. Why all of a sudden does he decide to sell this?
Well, I'm not being funny. I said this. Every fight scene he has in this film, he no sells. Anytime he takes a punch, he no sells it. Even when he's throwing punches, he's no selling them.
Yeah, but here
all of a sudden, this one scene, whereas and that's his response is entirely way. His response should be, "I will fucking kill you. I will fuck you up. I will cut bits off you and feed them to the dog." Yeah, that is the appropriate response to "I'm going to rape your daughter and your soon-to-be wife." Not you bastard.
Yeah, it's terrible. Right.
So,
terrible.
and my American accent was better than Hogan's there, I've got to say.
Right. So that's bad enough, right? I'm already questioning this. Surrendering his wife, that's terrible. You bastard is terrible. But as if that's not bad enough, follow this train of thought again with this dialogue. Yeah. Right. He threatens to rape his wife and his daughter in his own bed. He says to him, I'm going to do it in your own bed. Yeah. As he's leaving, he turns to his henchman and says, keep him alive until I get back. I want him to watch.
Yeah, right. But you've missed a bit there. So he did say he was going to bring the daughter back, but not the wife. So
that's not in Cutter's own bed then, is it?
Well, no, what he said is he was going to do it in his own bed, and then he was going to bring her back and do it there. But then
so he's going to rape her twice.
Yeah, and he's also going to rape the wife, but not bring it. She wasn't going to make the return journey.
Oh, she's going to kill the wife.
Yeah. Now, what that says to me is this dude's going to go this guy's got some stamina. He's going 3 times.
Yeah, and I mean he's an old dude.
Yeah, and with an audience as well. No stage fright and the rest of it.
Yeah, I completely bypassed that thing because to me it just sounded like I'm going to rape him in your bed, and stay here because I'm going to bring him back. So I just had visions of him just pulling up in a U-Haul, getting moved. Let's get the bed in.
Yeah, bring the mattress in.
Yeah, come on this way, to me, to you. Meanwhile, he's got him just dangling in the back of the truck.
Yeah, hanging off the meat hook. Yeah. I mean, the thing I've got a note before this bit where, and I think it's before we see him get captured. So we get this thing back at the house with Vince and Mary Kate. Now, again, bear in mind, less than 24 hours ago, somebody tried to rape her. Mm-hmm. He then forces his tongue down her throat.
Yeah,
and that's fine.
Yeah,
because and I mean I've said this in things before, and we've come across this before, and I've said this in real life as well, because there have been issues where rape victims have then been raped by police officers straight afterwards. surely somebody who's just been raped is not really primed and up and ready to go and shag the bloke she just met a couple of hours ago.
You'd have thought not. But
I might be wrong. Having never been raped, I don't know. But
I was going to say, like, you don't know how that works. Maybe there's a victim mentality in there as well. Maybe there's Stockholm syndrome. I don't know. Problem is, this film isn't smart enough to approach any of that, so you can't ask those questions.
Yeah, and, it's just he pays her a compliment. She sort of looks at him as if he's a fucking idiot, and he goes, "Oh, fuck it," and sticks his tongue down her throat. Hang on, what?
Yeah.
Surely you're getting headbutted in a minute, or kneed in the bollocks.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd think
or a
so.
frying pan or something, because frying pans, weapons. No.
But he's the good guy. Remember, he told us right back at the start, we're the good guys, which is fine. So
yeah,
Hogan gets dispatched on his mission, goes out for vengeance, goes out to save his daughter, has to go and take this guy down, makes a good fist of it.
Yep.
Unfortunately, gets captured.
Yeah, because there's about 1 million of them. Which is fair enough.
Captured.
That's logical. Hasn't happened anywhere else in the film, but logical that happens now. Yeah, fine.
Gets captured. Gets chained up. And he gets
told.
Hook,
shots. Yeah, fine.
Gets told that they're going to rape his wife and daughter. And he's broken. He calls him a bastard. He's at his lowest ebb here. He failed. Do you know what we call that, Mark? That's the end of Act 2. Act 2 took us 10 minutes.
I was going to say 4.
10 minutes. Now, listen, you might be listening to us, and I appreciate not everybody understands story structure, or at least in the way that we pretend to, all right? But just to break it down very simply for those of you listening that don't understand, and I don't mean to sound patronizing here, I'm sure you do if you listen to us, but just in case you don't, just to sort of give you the primer here. Generally, the meat and potatoes of your story, the bulk, 2/3 of your runtime is going to be Act 2. Yeah. That's where everything happens. All right, Act 1, set things up, upset the status quo. Act 2, the hero goes off on his quest to do everything he can to win the day and reset the status quo, and it's normally going to end with him at his lowest point, so that in Act 3 he can rise like a phoenix from the flames and emerge victorious. So you're just pumping up your threat all the way through Act 2 until he fails, and then Act 3, hero's going to win. All right, there's a very basic, quick breakdown for you there. There's a lot more to it than that, but so it really fucking threw me for a loop when we've got an hour-long first act, 10 minutes of second act, and then about 25 minutes of Act 3. Yeah. And like, this is so fucked up. Like, how did anybody look at this and go, yeah, that's a coherent story. That works. That's pacey. That's snappy. Yeah.
Yeah. And what? It makes no sense. And on a slightly less technical structural point of view, you've got the guy who escaped in the police car. He's not fucked up anymore, so he's cleaned himself up. That's all fine. And he's telling he kicks everybody out. He's got the broadsword back because again we've seeded it, so might as well use it. He's got the broadsword back, and he's maybe I'll take your eye, maybe I'll take your nose, or maybe I'll cut your throat, maybe I'll take your man parts. Who the fuck wrote that?
Now, bearing in mind as well, this is a film where, and we've glossed over the actual ultimate weapon as well, haven't we? Because I got sidetracked by the rape. He does demonstrate to Cutter that he has an actual ultimate, the Devastator, he calls it, which never gets used.
Yeah.
Ever.
And this is this is another thing.
So what's the point?
He's a gun runner, and they've got all these guns around, and he's like, right, okay, I've got these little hollow point things. They're shallow tip. They don't do a lot of damage. They hurt like fuck. They don't make any noise. Then I've got the Devastator. Okay, fine. What are you going to do with that? I'm going to shoot a pig carcass, blow it to living fuck, and then never talk about it again.
Now, again, here's a third potential plot thread here, where if this had been set up in Act 1, what was in that cache that Hogan blew up? The Devastator. Oh, but actually, he didn't blow up the Devastator. He kept the Devastator.
The problem with that is, that's Lethal Weapon 3.
Yes, it is, but that doesn't mean it doesn't work.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It's not a very good film. Disclaimer, but
better than this.
No, 3's all right. No, 3's all right. 4 is the bad one.
4's crap. Yeah.
Yeah, 4's the bad one.
4's the one with the triads, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, that's the shit one.
Yeah, 3 was my first Lethal Weapon film, actually.
Yeah. 3's fine. 3's the one where all of a sudden there's more Joe Pesci than there is anything else. But yeah, it's fine. 3's fine. It's not as good as 2, but it's fine.
Yeah. But so again, that's the thing. We've got these weapons on the street, which all of a sudden are far more dangerous than your average gun.
Yeah. So again,
use that. Go with it.
Plot thread there. Right. So we got 3 separate plot threads. We got 3 films here. If you wanted it, you could have the fucking Ultimate Weapon trilogy. if you wanted it here.
Well, I've got nothing to write in December. Let's do it then.
Why not? Right, so there's another plot, but it just gets jettisoned completely. Like,
yeah,
fuck it doesn't matter. We just wanted to
show
off.
This was the thing, is that when you get that, you know, the whole setup, and again, the way I'd have done this is that, right, okay, the next time you see him, he's up on his meat hook, his arms are up, and he can't. Oh, fine. Next to the pig carcasses, bring in the $1 Million Club.
Yeah,
they're there to take pot shots at him. Give them the crappy little bullets, the hip buster or whatever you call it, the joint buster, whatever you call it. They can take pot shots at him, miss because they're all fucking, they're all governors and senators and all the rest. So they're not used to handling guns. And then he breaks out and says, "Yeah, okay, that's the toy one. Have a look at this." And then he blows the living fuck out of the pig carcass.
Yeah. Do something with it.
Now they're all impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah. The whole $1 Million Club, that thing didn't pay off either. You can hark back to that here. Look, I've got special assembly of the $1 Million Club. We've called you all here today because we've got some fucker we can shoot.
Yeah.
Give it something, give it some credence, because then at that point there's more of an yes, okay, he's in peril, he's been captured, he's chained up, all the rest of it. Make it worse. Double down and make this the most desperate situation he's ever been in.
Yeah.
Because then the stakes are that much higher.
Yeah, exactly. But we don't. We just flesh it all out. So on we go with Act 3. Now he's got to break himself out and get back and save his family and his best friend. So meanwhile, Cobra's sort of set up in the house, just defending everybody, and the girls are like doing their best as well. So we've got right, fine. The structure for Act 3, fine. I don't really have any problems with Act 3 other than we haven't had an Act 2 before it, and I'm not actually sure what story we're trying to tell from Act 1.
That's the thing. And I mean, you get some nice moments in here. It's like when he's he's there. They're all worried about Hogan, and it's like, oh, no, where have you been? Oh, just doing stuff. Because that doesn't sound shady at all. No. Now you know what he's done, because we saw again right at the beginning when they go on the assault, he sets up tripwires and fucking bombs and shit like that. So we know that's coming. Yeah. But just again, don't you worry about it, little lady. It's all fine.
Yeah, I've got it.
Pat you on the head and fuck off.
Yeah, I've got it covered.
Yeah, men will sort it out. Just you sit there and darn some socks.
Yeah. So. Right, okay, so Hogan then shows up to save the day as well. There's an assault, and Cobra's managing pretty well. He gets clipped, but he's managing okay.
Yeah. So can I ask as well, right? So Hogan escapes. Now they're on this compound. Presumably they've all got fucking vehicles. Why does he go back to the multi-story and get his own car?
Right, yes, I didn't know. I was like, where did his car come from?
Yeah, where all of a sudden he's in a multi-story with a barrier that he can drive through.
Yeah, in fact,
where did that come from?
Yeah, before he escapes, we have actually skipped. I've just realized we skipped another couple of bits as well. First of all, during the house assault, there's a point where the two girls are in the basement.
Yeah,
and I think it's Laurie says to Mary Kate, "Stay here," and she gives her a gun and says, "Take this and cover my back."
And then she fucking walks off.
Which one is it then? Stay here or cover me?
Not only that, it's cover my back. So she immediately turns around and fucks off the other way.
No.
It's like, what the fuck? So we had that, and we've also skipped over the bit where the henchman's going to cut off Hogan's man parts, and he managed to do some sort of Hurricane Rana shit and send him headfirst into a pillar drill.
It's because now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we get the PTSD that we should have had in the helicopter at the start and should have been plaguing him all the way through.
Yeah,
we get PTSD. But it makes no sense, because all of a sudden now there's this PTSD, and we flash back to when he was younger with Mary Kate as well, and it's like it's almost like they're trying to suggest there's some form of redemption here. Like this time he's not going to let anything to happen to her. He's going to push through it. Except, unless I missed this in the opening because I was distracted by the 4x3 in his hairline, we don't really know what happened there in the first place, do we?
Well, I read it that it's a dream, because if something had actually happened, if what had happened there happened, he'd have been shot in the face, because that's how they ended it, with the noise and him waking up.
Yeah.
So he's dreaming that. But why would he be in the middle of the fucking Viet Cong with a little blonde kid?
Yeah, right. So even if that is the case, we've only seen it once before. So to suddenly bring it back here as some sort of PTSD, and now he's going to punch through it.
Yeah. But again, if you're going to use that, even if you don't show it, talk about it. Have some allusion to it at some point.
Yeah, but anyway, it's enough to get him to hulk up and escape with some weird Hurricane Rana that you would never be able to do, but he manages to do it.
Even in his prime, his dodgy fucking knee wouldn't let him do that.
No, definitely not. And then we get the delivery of "I lied." Arnie, he's fucking not.
No.
So don't go stealing his lines.
But
And especially not from fucking Commando, where
No.
you're almost doing it here.
Well, this is it. And I mean, before that, we get the whole thing about the Bouncing Betty, which is the stupidest name for a fucking bomb I've ever heard.
Right. Now, yeah,
again,
but the Bouncing Betty thing, I like.
I like it.
Seed in at the start.
Put that in somewhere around the beginning of Act 2.
When
Act 2 should have been.
Yes.
Yeah.
When they're all in the barn. Oh, don't step there. That's a Bouncing Betty.
Yeah. Don't. Oh, fuck. Don't move. I'll need to tell you what that is. That's 25, 30, possibly 40 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
That's introducing a threat that we've got enough time to forget about before you use it.
Yeah. Oh, actually, so there's that, and before we get to I Lied and the Bouncing Betty as well, I can't believe I've glossed over this. The mirror, the fucking sniper rifle with the. Love it. So absurd that I love it.
Yeah.
But Cobra's been tagged. He's down
twice at this point. He's once in the leg, once in the arm.
I mean, he's fucked. He's absolutely.
Although my note is that these commandos have been trained by stormtroopers.
Yeah, because they can't fucking shoot.
No.
Yeah. So he's fucked. He's lying on the floor with his fucking sniper rifle.
Yeah, back to the dude and everything.
Back to the dude, but he's broken the mirror off the fucking car. And
I telegraphed it because I saw him when he fell. He
grabs the mirror.
He grabs it, and you think, oh yeah, it's his last stand. Thinking, there's nothing that fucking subtle in this film.
No.
There's got to be a reason for that. And when you see the guy approaching, you say, yeah, he's using the mirror to pick him off, and straight away he does it.
Turns round with a shit-eating grin on his face, and he's balancing a sniper rifle on his fucking banged up leg.
And again, I'm fairly sure sniper rifles are long and there's quite a lot of recoil on them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like he'd break his fucking hips. Like never mind the fact they're not gonna you shoot somebody with a sniper rifle at that close range. Like, you're just going to explode him. Like, it's a high velocity round. That's the point. Yeah. Like, I know fuck all about ballistics, but I've been taught enough by games and action movies that I know you don't shoot someone with a sniper rifle at point blank range. That's not how they work.
Well, I mean, we've seen it in other things as well with longbows and shit.
Yeah, exactly. You just
I can't remember what it was, but we talked about that before. It might have been in the Name of the King.
I think it was in the Name of the King. Yeah.
But again, longbow from 3 yards.
Yeah. So
not really going to work.
Fucking hilarious. But then we get the Bouncing Betty thing because first of all, Hogan shows up, does his thing, shows up in the Jeep, takes everybody out on his own.
Yeah.
And gets into the barn, and Mary Kate steps on the Bouncing Betty, and so then we get the discussion about the Bouncing Betty and how he disarms it. All good. And if that had happened at the start, if Laurie had stood on it in the start, maybe, and he'd be like, oh no, or if Cobra's the ideal person. When Cobra shows up to take him for lunch, and Hogan's like, leave me alone, and they wander into the barn, and then Cobra steps on it, and he's like, now look what you've done.
Yeah,
that's
you dopey twat. Idiot. Fucking, I've got to disarm this because of you.
Because of you, you fucking idiot, right? But anyway, for whatever, they do seed it, and then the bad guy comes in, and he gets maneuvered. Mary Kate manages to maneuver him onto the Bouncing Betty.
Yeah.
Now, I get that he stood on the Bouncing Betty now, and I get that. All right, he's thinking he's done for, but he's got enough of his own guys on the way, and he's still holding a gun.
Yes.
Why does he allow Hogan to start waxing lyrical and take his? Why didn't he just shoot him? Yeah, there you go.
That's what I've written down. Is that okay? He's on the bomb, and now he's fearful for his life. Okay, fine. Doesn't know how big a bomb it is. The conversation we know how big it is. Where as soon as you shift your weight or step off it, it's going to leap up 3 foot in the air.
Yeah.
And take your legs off.
Yeah.
Which is not fucking happens when it goes off, by the way. Just bringing that in now. But okay, so he doesn't know that. McBride, I think his name is, I've written down here. He doesn't know that. So he thinks it's a landmine or whatever. Fine, okay. So you get the whole thing about I lied. Hogan's walking away with his daughter. Shoot the cunt in the back.
Yeah,
you're not a moral character anyway. Shoot him in the back. Again, you put this point where Hogan could actually die.
Yeah, and there's two possible outcomes to that, isn't it? You're gonna die anyway, so you may as well shoot the fucker in the back.
Take him with you,
right? Because as you say, you're not a moral character. Or your guys are on the way. Shoot the fucker in the back. One of them will know what to do, and if they don't, they'll know someone that does because you're a fucking arms dealer.
Yeah, exactly. There'll be somebody in the Rolodex who knows what to fucking do.
Yeah. So I don't understand why he doesn't shoot him in the back. Don't like his delivery of I lied because, as I say,
neither of them deliver it well. Let's be fair.
You're not Arnie, and this isn't Commando. So leave that alone. And then I actually started writing, what a shit show. What the fuck was? Oh, hang on, this isn't over.
Well, this is the whole thing, and you've got him whining little bitch with a skin knee. Please save me, I'll give you anything. All this shit.
I loved that.
Yeah, that's
that
fine,
funny.
and it's fun. It's funny. It's fine.
Crane,
that works really well. That's all fine, and that's working really well. And you've got this point where actually this guy now, where it's like, right, okay, fine, and we get, you hear the sirens. Oh, it's almost like somebody called the police. Ha 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 ha. Then it turns out it's the other dude. We see him all of a sudden. He got blood pissing down his face. He's on his fucking revenge tack. He's going to run them all over because nothing else has worked. Hit them with a car. Yep. Fine. Have no issues with that, except he stole the police car and killed 2 cops. People will be looking for that fucking car.
Yeah.
As soon as you take that away, you ditch it. You don't go back to your base of operations, then get back in it and drive the cunting thing again to another crime scene where you know people are being executed. Yeah. So you do that, and then you get the whole thing of he drives into the barn and the bomb goes off, and this thing that's going to jump up 3 foot in the air and take your legs off. All of a sudden, it's an atomic fucking bomb, and it takes the entire farm out.
I mean, my only note about that is, oh no, the barn, sad face. I felt worse about the barn being blown up.
Well, that was the thing, and then you get the last line of the film is, oh man, now I've got to build it again. That's
the most I felt for that character in the entire film.
It's like, yeah. I was like, oh, fucking hell.
And literally the car hit it. I was like, oh no, that's his barn. All he cares about is the fucking barn.
And apparently his daughter.
Yeah, but she came later. When we started the film, Act 1, all
thing.
He cared about was his fucking barn. That's all he wanted. Then he had to go postal on some IRA nut jobs. And now he's blown his fucking...
Well, no. Again,
this film is a moral. This film is a moral. I was
going to say he got what he deserved because he killed people. He blew shit up, and he got his in the end. He didn't get the happy ending. Yes, okay. He presumably
didn't get raped. So that's good.
Yeah, presumably didn't. Presumably got his happy ever after with a girlfriend, and he's reconciled with his daughter. Got a new funny son-in-law. Fine, great. That's fine. Except he's not a moral character either.
No, not at all.
He has killed more people in this film than the fucking villains have.
Yeah. I'm completely, I would say, unjustified as well. The villains are justified in going after him.
Yeah.
Because, all right, yes, they're bad dudes. I get it. They're bad dudes.
Yeah, but so is he.
No justification at all to blow up their weapons catch. And now it's cost him his barn. Moral of this film, don't fuck with the Irish. Just leave them alone. Just leave them alone. They're lovely people. If you leave them alone. Like, don't fuck with the IRA. What is wrong with you? What is wrong? You're lucky it's only the barn that got blown up.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, maybe in the sequel they take his truck as well.
Yeah. This film, honestly. So then I finished my thought. What a shit show.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the point? What was the point in any of this? It was an hour and 40 minutes nearly.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was about. I don't know what the point of this was, other than blowing shit up.
It's a payday for people. But somebody somewhere bankrolled this film and went, "This is really fucking good. This is an amazing. These are the action films we used to see before fucking Terminator ruined everything and made people think."
Yeah, basically, that's what this is.
This is the most 80s thing that was ever produced in 1998.
Yeah, it's just missing a fucking hard rock soundtrack.
Yeah. And actually, when you get the opening, I mean, because I was really confused because obviously I saw on Prime it was now 2021, so all of a sudden you get the electronic rock bit, and you get the titles with the sparks and everything, and it's in 4:8. I think, hang on, the fuck.
Yeah.
But then you do get that, and there are bits with the soundtrack, certainly bits with the score, where it does build really well, and it changes tempo really well, and all of a sudden it drops off in. And if you think back to the countdown, the score that we had for Countdown. The way the tempo changes and the way it sort of becomes a lot softer and it moves around. There's a lot of that in this, but in really proper 80s style, which you didn't get.
I have it right here on a mini disc by the side of me. Just happens to be on my desk it's been there for 15 years.
I was going to say, yeah. I've still got it. So I've got it on the computer somewhere as well. But yeah, it's one of those you think, well, this is perfect for when it should have been made. And the only thing that's made it different is you've got a flash drive, you've got a laptop, and you've got a mobile phone. Yeah. Everything else screams 1985.
It really does. And I think if they'd have just lent into that a bit more and actually, cut half an hour off.
Yeah.
Right. This needs to be 70 to 80 minutes tops, and just pick a story, one of the three.
Yeah.
I don't care which one. I'd rather it wasn't the rape. But if you're going to do that, then lean into it. And at least
but again, if you are going to do that, let's say lean into it, and then there's a lot you can draw from in film, in cinematic history, in literature, in nonfiction. I mean, I did my dissertation on the rape allegory in vampire fiction, and as part of that, I had to read some really fucking horrible interviews with rapists and sort of what their motivations were, and sort of the psychology of it, and sort of the physicality of it, the chemical rushes and stuff like that. There's so much out there. If you're going to lean into that, there's research you can do. But this feels like, we want to make a film, but we don't do any research.
Basically.
Just throw as much shit at the wall as we can. Blow stuff up. Put Hulk Hogan in it. People will lap it up.
And we did. We did. Yeah. Like, I sat all the way through it. Would I?
Had it not been for this show, I wouldn't have.
Yeah, neither would I. Well, I would have probably watched it if it had popped up on my Amazon recommendations. I was like, oh look, it's a dodgy action film with Hulk Hogan. I am definitely up for that on a Friday night with some beer. 100%. Would I have made it past the half-hour mark though? Probably fucking not.
No.
But I would have at least put it on.
But then if you hadn't made it past the half-hour point, you'd never have seen secretfile.doc.
Well, yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's just I don't know what the point is. There is no actual plot. Hogan has no agency whatsoever. He does nothing in this
Nobody
film.
does. Well, that's lots of people just react to stuff.
Yeah, and again, that's your classic 1980s action thriller. There are loads of those. Death Wish, right? People fucking love Death Wish. Nothing ever happens after the first one. The rest of them, Death Wish is fucking 2 to 275, right? Yeah. Nothing fucking happens. Nothing. They sell themselves as being these like revenge tales. It's like, no, this is a bunch of people talking about shit and trying to fuck each other over, and nobody actually until the last 10 minutes when all of a sudden somebody goes postal. Yeah. Right? There is a whole subsection, again, anything with Brian Dennehy, there is a whole subsection of films that are like this. All right. But this isn't even a good one of those. There's no plot, no agency. I just don't know what I watched. I don't know what I spent an hour and a half watching. I don't understand it. If Cobra hadn't have been in it, I'd have been well fucking pissed. I'd have been livid that I wasted time on it. And again, if it had been 70 minutes, I might have stuck it out.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's fucking over an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
Inexcusable. We had an hour's worth of fucking Act 1, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, and that was my big problem with it, is that the structure is all to cock. And that means you don't have the chance to engage with people the way you need to. Because you mentioned earlier when talking about structure, the whole point of Act 1 is this is the status quo, this is how we fuck it up.
Yeah.
We never learn what the status quo is.
No.
In an hour, we don't actually find out who Ben, was it fucking, what was his nickname?
Cutter.
Yeah, what was his nickname? Fucking Hard something?
Oh, Hardball.
Hardball. Yeah, we don't know who Ben Hardball Cutter is. We don't know anything about him. We don't know anything about his life. We don't know anything about how it works, apart from he's got a girlfriend who thinks he's a twat.
All I know about him is that he really, really, really loves his barn. And that's why I was so gutted when his barn got blown up at the end.
But I kind of liked it because, I say it's that karmic thing when actually you've been a twat the entire way through the film. Yes, okay, you've gone on this fucking misguided revenge mission against a guy who tried to rape your daughter because you fucked him up in the first place. But yeah, you're still an arse. So the fact your barn got blown up, I don't actually care. It's that sort of thing. Well, I just don't feel like I knew enough about anybody to root for any of them, apart from the arms dealer. I think it probably rooted for him more than anybody else until he turned into a rapist.
Yeah, he's a fucking despicable character. But rape aside, he's probably the only one with any justified motivation.
That is a phrase we use far too often in our podcast. Rape aside,
we really do. I think it's a positive thing because I think it is us going like, yes, we acknowledge that is very bad. Of course, it's very bad. But what I'm trying to say by that is not to excuse his actions. It's like if that wasn't in the script, then he would be arguably the main character.
Yeah, he's been wronged. He's looking to put it right.
It's the Gaston effect, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, horrible, questionable approach to Belle aside, Gaston is questionably the hero of Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, he's a war hero. He's going to save. He's going to kill the beast. He's a war hero. He saved the village. He's he's there building people up. He's in the tavern. He's visible. He's a leader. He's a natural leader. Apart from the fact he's a horrible fucking person
and probably a rapist.
But there's no probably about it. Let's be fair.
Yeah, and he's a rapist. Okay, so
Disney don't sue us for that.
Oh, fucking hell. Like, everybody knows he's a rapist. Come on. I tried to tiptoe around it, but you just threw us straight in the water, so we may as well start fucking swimming. But it's the same thing. Yeah. Like, if you take that element away from this character, like, yeah, he hasn't got Gaston's charm or inherent stupidity, which makes him charming, but he's still totally justified in his actions.
Yeah, you wronged me. I'm going for revenge.
I'm going to, yeah, exactly.
And yes, okay, raping your daughter doesn't really come into that. And what you wronged me with and what you cost me was actually really shady anyway. But that's the reason they've done that, is because actually they need something to hang Cutter on as a hero. So the fact he was doing a just thing, he's stopping these terrorists or these arms dealers from getting the guns and spreading them around the world or giving them to the Irish or whatever they're going to do with them. So okay, that's fine, but that's not who he is. Now, as a mercenary, he's probably done enough of these missions whereby actually they take the fucking weapons themselves and sell them on. Or they bring them back to base and somebody else sells them on.
Look, this just strolled into my head then while you were saying about it. But look, here's how you do this in 10 minutes in Act 1. Cutter does the deal with Cobra.
Yep.
Cutter goes home and proposes because he's got what he needs. He's done his last job.
Yeah, he's had his 100 grand. He's fine. He's out.
Out of the life. Yeah. Right? Goes to find Mary Kate. Just so happens that one of Mary Kate's druggy friends has just been whacked with an experimental weapon that's been bought by a street thug from the IRA. Just so happens that happens to have a, particular ballistic fingerprint that Hogan recognizes from the drug.
There's a marking on the bullet casing that was there on the ones they fucking did.
So now he has his crisis of conscience, and now his one last job has gone sour, and now he has to put it right so he can make peace with himself and prove to his daughter that he's not a scumbag layabout that allowed one of her friends to get killed, and win her affection back that way.
Yeah.
That's easy. You can do that in 10 minutes.
Yeah. And again,
you can set
Act 1 of Lethal Weapon 3.
Yeah. So basically what we're saying is don't watch this.
Watch Lethal
Weapon 3. Yeah.
But if you could do that, watch 1 and 2 as well, because
they're better than 3 as well. So we do have a podcast on Lethal Weapon 1 kicking around somewhere for a show that this almost was.
Yes.
And never came into being. Where we
I found that the other day,
good
actually.
Films. Yeah. We decided that wasn't entertaining enough. But if you want to hear that, listeners, if you want to hear us actually talking about films that we like in a positive manner, let us know, because that does exist.
We just never do it again, though, because I'm not fucking editing it. It was like 2.5 hours long, and it was.
I'd be willing to just drop
it. Saying that, we weren't separate recording that either. We were together.
No, sat in the same room.
We did it in person. So fucking hell.
Yeah.
That was a while ago.
That's how long ago it was. But that's out there. So if that's something anybody's interested in listening to, if you'd like us to actually talk reasonably intelligently, we think, about good films, let us know. Maybe we'll drop that, and maybe we'll look at some more good films. But for now, this absolutely isn't one of them. So,
really, I didn't get that from the last 2 hours.
No. I mean, we've got to ask the question. I think we're both on the same page here, though. Is it better than Mario?
Hang on, let me. No, not even fucking close.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. No, I never want to see this film again. I'm sorry I watched it in the first place. It made my eyes hurt and make me feel physically sick.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. It's the worst Hulk Hogan film we've watched on this podcast, and that's saying something.
Yeah. Oh, we did the 6th one with Hogan. We did Mr. Nanny, Mary Poppins, and Nanny McPhee as well.
Yeah. So it's the worst thing we've ever had to watch that has Hulk Hogan in it, and I'm including Rock and Wrestling and everything in that as well. Yeah. It's the worst fucking thing we've seen.
It's worse than Hulk Hogan in WrestleMania 9.
Yeah, it's the worst thing we've seen with Hogan in thus far. Disclaimer: we haven't actually watched rewatched Mr. Nanny yet. I haven't seen it as an adult.
No, I haven't seen it as an adult. It's a long time since I watched it.
Pretty sure that'll probably be worse than this, just without the rape.
Possibly. But yeah, I mean, in terms of this, The writing was shit. The dialogue was shit. The performances were mainly shit. It looked like shit. The editing was shit. The sound was all right.
Cobra was good.
Cobra was good.
And
there were boobs in it.
And Laurie was good.
Yeah. So there's boobs in it. I'll accept it. No, yeah, no, there's just, I've struggled to find any redeeming feature in this other than it ended eventually.
It did end, and it was free. So
yeah.
we didn't have to pay for this one.
That's about it. But yeah, I will. Most of the films we watch, even the really bad ones, with the exception of Battlefield Earth, I will probably, and 365 Days, because I just have no reason to watch that. The rest of the films we've talked about in the show, I will probably watch again at some point in my life.
Yeah.
Others, let's say 365 Days, Battlefield Earth, and this go on the list of things I will burn my eyes out with fucking cortisone before I have to watch them again.
Yeah, I'm glad it's over.
Yeah. But for those who haven't seen it, knock yourselves out.
It's free on Amazon Prime.
It's free on Amazon. It's called The Ultimate Weapon, which he is very much fucking not.
Yeah, no.
Because again, he's not Chuck Norris.
And he doesn't do anything.
Yeah. So yeah, I can find no redeeming features in this. If you watch it and you can, please let us know, because I want to know what's wrong with people.
Yeah, good luck defending this fucker.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this was horrendous. So I mean, yeah, if you have seen it, and there are people like this type of film, as you said, both of our fathers would have fucking loved this film.
Loved it, absolutely loved it.
This
is the type of film he would be shoving into my hands and going,
you've got to watch this.
You've got to watch this. Yeah. I've got a stack of them, mostly westerns, but I've got a stack of them up on a shelf behind me that he's bought and given to me. And I've gone, I'll watch it. And then like 2 weeks later, I've gone, it was really good. Yeah, that bit where he shot the guy. Yeah, that was excellent.
Yeah.
Never watched him.
The bit with the horse.
Yeah, the bit with the horse was brilliant. Never watched him.
Yeah. Yeah, when my parents cleared out a load of old DVDs and stuff, they had a cabinet full of them. And they don't watch them anymore. They're like, we're going to get rid of stuff. Do you want it? I was like, to be honest, at the time we just come back from Australia. We were still unpacking. I was like, I've got fucking dozens of boxes of DVDs in your attic. Just chuck them up there, and I'll sort them out later. And then they were all in a separate box. And as soon as we moved into the house, straight to the charity shop.
Yep.
I didn't even try and say, if you don't want them, stick them on eBay. Nobody's gonna fucking buy those. Straight to charity shop. I was like, I don't care. Yeah.
So yeah, there's an audience though. There is
an audience for it, and if that includes you, by all means, let us know.
Hey, God bless you. If you like this type of stuff,
honestly, let's be fair. If you've got through this movie and you've got through the last 2 hours of us, fair play to you. The men in white coats are coming. Please go quietly.
Like if you like these fucking 80s action movies, and you like the bad ones, that's the thing. You have to very specifically like the bad ones, because this is a bad one. And there are people out there who love that. And if that's you, you are going to fucking love this. That is not me.
Yeah, it's right up somebody's street, but it's not ours.
No, absolutely not. Never again.
But yeah, so yeah, if you enjoyed it, if you think we've got it wrong, please let us know. Get in touch on Twitter at ddpodcastnet. You can go to our website, ddpodcast.net, where you can also get our previous shows and previous episodes of this show and our other shows. Fuck me. I need to start drinking more.
Well, I think it's just the effect of the Ultimate Weapon. Your brain is dribbling out of your ears.
I was going to say, the reason I've got cans on rather than earbuds is that it just hide the blood. Yeah, so you can get our previous episodes from there. On Facebook and YouTube with the Double M Podcast Network. So like, subscribe, comment on there, whatever you need to do. Wherever you get your podcast from. I'm not going to go through the list because I always fuck it up, but they're available everywhere. Like, share, subscribe, leave a message best you can, and we'll get back to you. Also, if you have films that you'd like to recommend that aren't as bad as this, preferably.
Or if they're worse.
Or if they're worse. Well, you say that. Maybe we need a break first. But yeah, by all means, again, get in touch. Let us know what we should be looking at. We'll take into consideration. But until next time.
See you later.